It's the cold hard truth. Everyone really want to know what's going on with her show. Just get on the air and you will know it's Sandra. The queen of the mile road is here, helping people from everywhere. Get on the phone and you will hear Sandra. Now she will tell you how it goes, but don't you ever step on her toes, 'cause you will hear the cold hard truth from Sandra. They say she's the hero in town, helping people from all around. You get a call, your money is found, it's Sandra. Some will call her late at night just to say that there is a fight, and she will not just leave it alone. She'll get up and call on the phone, and when politics starts on her show, everyone really wants to know the way the things will really go with Sandra. Some will start to criticize, get on the show and tell pure lies, but someday we'll realize it's Sandra. And when they start to argue again, she'll pull the heads to the wind, and soon you will be a friend of Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wants to hear from Sandra. Every day, everyone wanna hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day, everyone got to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day, everyone got to hear from Sandra.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, beautiful people. How is everybody doing this beautiful Hump Day Wednesday? I know it's hard to keep up with the days when you have holidays thrown in there. It always throws you off a little bit. But yes, today is Wednesday, May the 20th, folks. We are rolling into summer. And boy, I tell you, I don't think it's menopause, but I can feel the heat. Yep, it's going to be a warm one. Just the other day, I attended an event on Saturday, which, by the way, I never really got to say much about this event, but big shout out to the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture, and Heritage for putting on a really lovely tea party for the kids as part of their Heritage Week, Heritage Month, not week, Heritage Month events. It was so nice. I mean, I love a good tea party, and the girls did as well. I rounded up Gigi and her BFF and put them in the vehicle, and we went out there and they put on a little fancy dress, a little fancy outfit. She refused to wear a fascinator because she doesn't quite get the whole fascinator obsession yet. So I wore the fascinator instead. And it was just a really good time. The food, this is at the Marriott. Shout out to the Marriott team. The food for their tea parties are always good. You got to check it out. Like, they do them on a regular basis if you just want to go there. But the ministry rented out the space, and the tea party was a lot of fun. I must tell you, we had a great time, good company. So they had one section for the kids that kind of forced them to, sit down, get out of their comfort zone, meet new people at the table. She even told a friend of hers, he's a little boy, about the tea party, and he wanted to go. So he was a last minute addition because his mom's like, okay, well, that's something to do today. Brought him to the tea party, and he had a fantastic time as well. He's like, I want to do it again. So the kids really, really enjoyed themselves. They had kid-friendly and appropriate food for them. And then for the adults who were off in a different section, they had the usual tea options. And I was so hot that day. This is what made me remember Saturday. I was so hot on Saturday. I said to myself, oh my God, I don't think I can drink a hot tea. I need some cold tea options. But you know what? They said everything that was on the menu, if I wanted it as a cold tea, they could serve it as a cold tea. So I said, okay. That worked for me. So it was really amazing. History Month, culture, my apologies. The events continue. So please check out the events. There's a number of things that are in the pipeline that the ministry is continuing to, oops, my apologies. I see I had not muted that one. Were you guys hearing that guy talking the whole time? One of me and my little educational videos. Hold on a second. Let me put in my headsets. All right. There we go. My apologies if you were hearing Stephen Bartlett interview another expert. So, yes, the tea party was a lot of fun, and there's more events coming in the month. So don't forget to check social media pages. We've been posting up events. Let me see what we got coming up next. Hold on. On the 30th, one thing that they're doing for Heritage Month, it's Heritage Month. I keep saying culture, but it's actually Heritage Month. One thing that they're doing on the 30th that I'm really looking forward to, because I missed it this past Saturday, is something called the Human Library. It's like where people become the books. Interesting concept. And I heard the kids had a great time at that event on Saturday as well. So I will definitely be checking that out. Let me just see what else we got. I'll keep you guys abreast though, because there's like a lot. They've actually been really, really busy with their schedule of events. They've had like church events. They have had Culturama this past weekend, the 16th and 17th. That was at the Hartwell Theater. So that was really good. Bracknell was obviously this weekend. Again, the theme for this month's heritage is threads to our traditions. And so, the Human Library was on Saturday from 10 to 12. So mark your calendars, because the Human Library is coming up again on the 30th of the month. So, I don't know if registration is required. I think you just show up at the library, and then the kids, are going to have a great time. And we had Family Fun Day in Cayman Brac on May the 9th. So big shout out to the kitchen band. Swanky Kitchen was there, and they performed and they played. And of course, the kids and everybody loved that. There was a church service on the 10th and gospel concert on the 9th for the Cayman Brackers at Ashton Ruddy. So there's been a whole slew of events. Give me 1 second. I'm just looking at what's coming up next. We have, okay, I only have stuff up until the 18th. So I'm going to reach out to them and see if we can get the calendar for the remaining events. I'm going to shoot them a quick message, and then I'll post that up as well. Okay. So can we get the remaining events for March, please? Okie dokie. Just like that. Okay. All right. So, yeah, they're working hard, planning a lot of good stuff for the community. And I absolutely love it. Well, today, folks, is a big day. Of course, May the 1st was 345 Day. And Caymanians celebrated with their flag and, nothing but pride around all things that represent the 345. Big shout out to Ale, who has a lot of products now that you can purchase to really represent who you are as a Caymanian people. Hashtag Caymanian Proud shirts were also made available. And I love seeing people just really represent and put on their shirts, show their pride. I'm going to show you guys just a few pictures here, and then we're going to get ready for our guests who are in the studio. So the entire government, more or less, I think everybody was here, took a photo on the steps of the Parliament for 345 Day. to really just show their solidarity and commitment to the 345. And again, we had some amazing photos posted by the ministry. Look at that. Beautiful people. Just demonstrating that hashtag Caymanian Proud. So I hope that you guys are wearing your t-shirts and you're representing, because this is what it's all about. We're fighting for the 345. You know what I'm saying? We are fighting for all good things under the stewardship of our government, but all things for the benefit of the people of the Cayman Islands. Look at that. Beautiful. Looking good, looking good. All right, so good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing? Everybody had a good night? Well, I was sleeping good early in the morning. I told you guys I've been taking some magnesium now, and that certainly helps. I do find that I sleep better when I am routinely taking my magnesium supplement. It allows me to just, go into a little bit of a deeper sleep, and it's all natural, and your body needs magnesium. A lot of us are short on these things. And I started taking my vitamin D plus K2 supplement as well. So I feel like that's gonna be good the next time. Hopefully I go in and do my blood work. The good doctor should see the results. Dr. Sandeep. He's going to be waiting on me like, The only result he's going to want to see is that A1C score and the scale. Good morning, Shaka Zulu. Good morning, Blissful British. Wee Wee's in the house. Clean and Straight is here as well. I love to see you guys so well behaved. Strong Wilt, Marshall, Damaris, Leroy. Hey, Leroy, we've not seen you in a week or so. Miss Debbie, thank you so much, Miss Debbie, for the message yesterday. I was just listening to it this morning. She was telling us about that accident there in Bordentown, and we were on top of it because I was at home when the power went blip, and I'm like, what on earth? And all my neighbors started messaging in the neighborhood chat to say, hey, is anybody else out of power? You have those little moments where you go, did I forget to pay my CUC bill? Oh my God. And then you realize it's everybody else in the group. So it's not just you. And in no time, we found out that it was a spectacular accident that took down multiple power lines, look like. And so, yeah, what a hot mess yesterday was with all the accidents. So thank you, Debbie, and everybody else who sent the information through. We appreciate you guys always doing that. Sending information, sending photos, videos, everything, honey child. So listen, we have a celebration this morning. Yep. Everybody's with me? 1 year. Time flies when you're having a good time. But it has now been 1 year for the NCFC government. And wow, they've actually been really, really busy. Now, I'm relatively young when it comes to Cayman politics. Like, I've been at it for a little minute now, but I still feel like, 20, 30 years is nothing compared to some people like Miss Mary, who has so much history. She knows everything going back to, I don't even know, 60 years ago. So many people, Miss Karen Thompson, lots of history there when it comes to politics. So I feel like I'm pretty young and I'm still learning and I'm still getting my feet wet, but I love to see a cohesive group of individuals come together and really set aside everything and focus on the people's business. And that's what I think NCFC has really been doing an amazing job of. And I'm glad because, we were coming at a tumultuous time, and we have high hopes for them, and we will continue to support them as long as they are doing right by the people of the Cayman Islands. And guess what? This organization is 1 year old today. I don't want to say organization, but this partnership is 1 year old today. And so we are going to be chatting with them and getting into some of the details on exactly what they've been doing, what they've been up to. Now, they got a hard stop here this morning, so let's not waste any time. Put your virtual hands together, please, and thank you. Look at this group. Good-looking people, too, I might say. You know, Caymanians, we're special like that. We're all good looking. But I want you guys to, they weren't expecting that. They're like, what on earth? I want you guys to put your virtual hands together for the Honorable Andre Ebanks, who's Premier and Minister of Financial Services and Commerce, the Honorable Catherine Ebanks-Wilkes, who's Minister for Health, Environment, and Sustainability, and the Honorable Johanny Ebanks, who's Minister for Planning, Lands, Agriculture, Housing, and Infrastructure. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, Sandra, the listening public, Caymanians and Caymanians overseas.
Absolutely. How are you guys doing?
Everyone. So will we see you?
Yes. Normally, normally when you don't see me, it's because I'm multitasking and I'm doing a lot in the background. So I don't, I don't want to quite distract our listeners yet, but don't worry, I'm getting, I'm getting all the links together for them so that all the groups, we got our Washington Boulevard group, shout out to them, Windsor Park. We got West Bay groups. We want everybody to make sure that they are tuned in this morning. So those are the things I do before I come on screen. But don't worry, you'll see me in just a minute. In the meantime, wow, you guys have been busy. I feel like that's might be the understatement of the year, quite frankly. And we're going to be going through a lot of the accomplishments that this government has managed to undertaken in just a year. But before we get there, I know that, you know, all of you are were reelected. So you're not first time MPs. And you were working with some people who were fresh out, you know, new MPs. And so I know there's always a learning curve. And with any group, there's always this period of getting to know each other. How did you forge, you know, just thinking back to how well this group has been doing thus far, how did you forge the group in the initial stages? And what was the focus at that time?
Well, it's funny you should say that because we were talking about that off air when we were waiting to come on air.
Oh,
We actually asked each other, can you believe it has been 1 year?
yeah.
An entire 12 months have gone by. It feels like just the other day, we were at an undisclosed location. You probably already know, Sandra, trying to form the government less than 24 hours after the general election.
Yes.
Then we were at the person to my left's constituency office. You had that photo, I think, before everybody else. You knew you're shy, Sandra.
Yeah.
And then a few of us raced down to the governor's and turned in a letter. And then after the first long weekend in May last year, we then went to Parliament and formed the government. I think from that first night, which was then election night, so called the next morning, because we worked through the night into the morning, we came up. And then we took a brief break and then came back to have lunch together.
Yeah, wow.
I think the overriding principle was that all of us knew, as you say, there's a range. There's a range of people who have been here before, some longer, some reelected, some completely new. There was a sense that there were large, complex, long-standing issues that have just been kicked down the road, and the country was looking for a unified team to go out and tackle those and then be able to take Cayman from strength to strength. I think we kept that focus the entire time. So even where there were points to negotiate, even where there were points where there were different views, it was still maintaining that focus that this is what, by and large, the people wanted. And I think you saw that, Sandra, in some of the post-recognition events that each of us would have had.
Yes.
The outpouring was just extraordinary. It gave all of us goosebumps in each different areas of the country. So with that sense that the country was looking for something new, fresh, unified, to stop kicking cans down the road is what keeps us together. And still, we do this every day, even yesterday in caucus. It was that same overriding principle.
Yep. And, you know, teams require work. I know some people think that it's just natural and it just happens and everybody's going to get along. And I'm like, no, there's always different personalities involved. And so there is work that one has to put in to keep a team cohesive, to keep everybody focused and on the same page. So what do you do on a regular basis to ensure that your team, as a leader of the pack, so to speak, what do you do to ensure that the team is focused and about the people's business?
So first of all, you're right in terms of team cohesion and team building. It's a constant exercise. Just like if you draw an analogy to sports,
Mm-hmm.
teams don't go out, perform, and win championships if they don't actually bond with each other. It just doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, we had to put the structure in place because, as you say, the three of us worked together before and are now being reelected. What could we take from the last administration to say, let's take a lesson learned and apply it to this term? So first of all, we had to get the structure right and put together a proper, first time in Cayman's history, coalition agreement. Sets out our principles,
Mm-hmm.
how we're going to conduct ourselves, and then we tied that to the broad and specific outcomes. So it's transparent to the country who we are, how we're going to operate, and what we're going to try to achieve in 26, 27.
Yes.
Going forward each week, we then, with that overriding principle, with that structure in place, then decide how we're going to come to decisions. So where there are points where we know that there are differing views, let's maybe set those off to the side, have additional on top of the caucus week, have additional retreats.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we just do fun things together.
Yeah.
We're still planning, and it's coming. We just need to find the time where we just want to jump in a bus and have a caucus day where we just go through the districts and have lunch and just talk to the people. And
Nice.
while we're on the ride, it's a different perspective, change the scenery, and then we continue to bond. But whenever we know we're going to hit up on a topic where someone feels a bit sensitive about this and somebody else feels sensitive about that, I think there's others in the room who gather around and say, all right, and we sometimes have to hold each other's hand.
Mm-hmm.
Take a deep breath. We know this is a tricky issue. We know you feel about A and you feel B, but we're going to get through this because at the end of the day, the country is depending on us.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Fantastic. All right. So we're going to get into some of the details here now on what this government has been working on. And like I said, it's been a long and really, really impressive list. And I know the people have high expectations. And I guess maybe even one of the questions that I have is, how do you manage? Because we talk about this here all the time on CMR. I think it's important for people, generally speaking, whether it's private organizations or even the government, to go about managing expectations, because that can be difficult, right? If people expect you to deliver the world and you don't, there's always concerns there about, well, why didn't you do this? And why didn't you do that? So how do you go about properly managing the expectations of the Caymanian people?
Well, let's bring in some of the ministers as well, so I don't dominate the conversation, but I'll kick off and let's have each of them answer it, because each of us are leaders in our own right.
Yes.
Leaders of the team within caucus, leaders of ministries, leaders of industries.
Mm-hmm.
I think you try to manage expectations by us sitting together. And this is one of the retreats we had. And it's an interesting exercise. Each of us put forward at one retreat, and we used AI to throw out goals that each one of you in caucus want to get done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then we actually put the data against it to say, how much would that actually cost? And historically, how long have those things taken? And it was a good exercise, because when it came back and we matched it against the data, it's like, yeah, we hear you, member for so-and-so, but when you look at the data, that hasn't happened in 2 years. So what you have to do is set realistic goals that you can actually have a strong prospect of success to actually achieve or substantially complete. It doesn't mean you let go of the long-term goals. It may be that you do it in chunks, that you decide what's the planning phase, what's the budget phase, and then the execution phase. So I think what the approach we've adopted is, again, data-driven, throw it all into the mix, what everybody wants to get done, stack that against the data of what actually can get done, because at the end of the day, although you may try to set out to fix the world, people want to see that some things get done, rather than you set out all the lofty goals and then nothing happens. But I'll let the other ministers chime in, because they also have to set goals within their ministries.
Yep, absolutely. Minister Kathy Wilkes.
Thank you. Just to follow on, good morning to everyone again. Just to follow on with what the Premier is saying, I think that the way that this government has been working also helps with managing expectations because, like the Premier mentioned, us having the retreat and being able to determine amongst ourselves as ministers and parliamentary secretaries what we were going to focus on then helped us with going back into our ministries. And, with the Ministry of Health and Environment, we did a similar exercise where the teams, the members of the staff of the ministry, were able to do the same thing to identify some of the things that they'd been working on before I took my office, and what they felt they wanted to prioritize. And we did the same thing. We came back down to 37 priorities. And now we are zoning in on, what can we get done now and keeping it realistic because healthcare reform is something that is quite a large task. And oftentimes you don't see the results right away. So we're working in that fashion. And I think, just being realistic with the public and letting them know that these are the things that we're working on and within like what I said the other day when I was speaking with Minister Anglin, this is our 1 year update. So we're, at least from my ministry, a lot of what I'm sharing is just to tell the public what we are working on. By our half year report, you'll actually be able to see some of the results of those efforts. So that's just to share a little bit with me and my perspective, but I'll hand it over to Minister J.
Morning, Sandra.
Good morning. Good morning.
Audience. Sandra, one thing I would start off by saying is I see a government and individuals that come to work that are excited, willing to make a difference, driven with the government that we're with now. And that's the main focus, right? Is that when you have individuals that get into the room, there could be strong personalities in there, yes. But the strong personalities are based off of making sure that Caymanians are first. That's the real tangible thing. And that's what motivates me to make sure that when I drive into the basement and we see everyone's in here, people are showing up to work on time, getting into their office, doing their work, getting everything done. It motivates everybody, right? And not say, well, this one didn't show up to work today, whatever. But again, it is driving the expectation of the people, right? It's the people know that MP is no different from all the other individuals that work in this building. Show up, we need to deliver. As the Premier talks about, we're the head part of the ship up here. So if we're missing from the top, then what do you think happens with everyone else below? So that is the difference that I really, really see. And as again, as mentioned, strong personalities, but the strong personalities are there to push Cayman forward. That's really, really what it's about. And I'm happy to be a part of a group like that, right? That goes in there every day, and every decision that we make is always about Caymanians and how we continue to put Cayman first. That's our main focus. And delivering for the people is just something that, once you got elected for one thing, and that was to do your best to deliver for the people of this country. There's absolutely no other argument to put with that, right? Show up to work, get the work done. As the Premier says, when you're busy as we have been, time flies. And that's what happened is that we have been so dedicated, so hard, working so hard in so many different projects, so many different things. We have not even realized. I don't even think we really had a form a really good retreat to ourselves, because anytime we plan a retreat, it's about all of the work.
It's about the work.
It's about the work.
Yeah, we haven't had like a just do nothing personal retreat.
Right? It's always about the work and how do we deliver, and that's what motivates you, is that you see you have so much work to deliver, and even though we want to take these time to huddle amongst ourselves, we know that behind there's still that amount, so we bring that with us to be able to push that, to continue that. We're making sure that we're delivering, because successful governments before has left behind so many things on the table, not
Mm,
getting stuff done. And we're a young group, we're motivated, and we're willing to carry everything over the goalposts.
Can I just chime in as well, just to say that one of the things that I really enjoy about working with this government is that even though we are a coalition, there's 3 different groups that are represented: the Cayman Islands, the
National.
National Party, and then the Caymanian Community Party, and then the 3 independents. We don't work in a fashion where individually we want to win. Individually, we want to do something because it's going to benefit just me. We see each success as a success that we benefit from. If Minister J is doing something on a road in Georgetown and it's improving the traffic flow, we all see that as something that benefits each one of us. So that's what one of the things that I really enjoy. I know that Minister J talked about having strong personalities, but still being able to work together because it's what's driving us to work harder for the people. And I think that coupled with that is the fact that we are not working in a silos or trying to, win individually, but we see this as we're working for our people as a government.
That's a very good point. To give the public some insight, when we were drafting the coalition agreement, one of the things, if you go and you read it, is how we would determine particular tough positions or problems. You might assume, because it's a coalition agreement and a coalition group, that it may cut across, the difference of viewpoints might cut across party and independent lines. But what the coalition agreement envisions, because we talked about it, is that it might not go that way. It could cut across district lines. So the West Bayers could say, well, no, wait a minute, why would we do that? Or those who are in the Eastern districts, or it could cut across gender lines, where a particular gender might be more honed in on a point than another gender. So we have to think about all these different factions, because we're human beings at the end of the day. We did come through different parties or different groupings or on our own to get through, but at the same time, you're still human beings. And depending on the issue, we're going to have to look beyond sort of our political groupings to how else would there be friction and tension? And if that arises, how do we resolve it? And that's what's been keeping us going. The overriding principle, as everyone so far has spoken, has indicated, how do we keep Cayman advancing forward? Because the people are relying on this government.
Fantastic. Well, we have a first year anniversary update. It's 49 pages, folks. It's not difficult to read. It's, fairly straightforward. So check it out. I'll share it. If you want a copy of it, you can WhatsApp me and I'm happy to send you the direct link. But lots of accomplishments have already happened. And so we're going to try to break down some of those key areas this morning, because everything covering, housing, infrastructure, environment, education, immigration, and workforce development. Obviously, the economy is always top of mind for everyone. Health and social development, Caymanian identity, culture and heritage, public service, and good governance and public safety are just a couple of those key areas. So we see a 1-year snapshot here on the screen. Hopefully everyone can see that. And this is then representing some of the numbers. And let's just quickly go through this. We had 235 plus more children with access to early education support. So we know that Minister Anglin was on Friday's program, and he has been doing an amazing job when it comes to focusing on education and training. And, he's a regular as someone who does his Ministry Matter segment. He's a regular participant in that and on the show quite often, updating people on exactly where we are. How do you wrap your mind? This is sort of a big, overlaying question, but how do you wrap your mind around what issues need to be prioritized and potentially fixed? Because I always think about this when it comes to getting things right, so to speak, because we didn't get here overnight. Issues develop over a long period of time. Sometimes they're multi-generational issues that we're dealing with, right? And so fixing them there's no quick solution normally. It's not going to happen overnight. It's most likely not even going to happen in one term. It takes time to get there. And it's a matter of, like, again, pacing yourself and knowing that Rome wasn't built in a day. And, these things will take time. You've got to have a plan. You've got to have a vision. So how do you keep focused on, I can imagine, especially if you're like a type A personality, which I know a lot of you are, just trying to get stuff done. How do you actually manage yourselves and your teams when it comes to, okay, this is what we need to do. How do we go about getting there? What's the plan?
Let's go back to the first part of your question of how you even set the priorities.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where we can give a shout out to the civil service. So when we took office and we had our first meeting with them, if you all remember this, and we first came into the government admin building, this is after we had organized ourselves of who was going to be in which posts and which ministries, and we finally had a meeting with the civil service. To give them a shout out, they had already compiled the top issues that came through on the debates and through the campaign, and had already looked at each of the manifestos, and then came to us with suggestions of what would be, from what everyone said on the campaign trail, what everything said in your campaign literature, what would be some of the short-term and medium-term goals. So give them credit. Without us prompting them, they already had that. So then that gave us an early start of, yes, we need to resolve it. Did they have it perfect? Did we have to come along and have input to say we don't actually want it this way, we want it that way, we want that modification or this modification? Yes. But they did, to give credit where credit is due, give us a decent platform of issues by pulling together all of what each of us talked about and giving us a menu of options. Once you had that then helped us and move forward, because after the general election, you then have to plan the budget and you have to plan the SPS. So then that led us then, and this is where we did have retreats and good discussions about what are the broad outcomes that we want. We have 7. Under those, what are the specific outcomes that you want? And then each of us then break away in our ministries to then be able to manage that process. I would say, from my part, I can see that technology helps, because now with the tools and apps that you have, each minister is able to use different applications, have chief officers and ministries load up what the tasks are for the month or the calendar quarter and stay on top. And that way you're able to say, what happened to this? What happened to that? I want this pulled forward, or maybe you could pause that for now. Plan A isn't working there. Let's bring forward B based on the changing conditions in the country. So personally, that's what I see each minister doing, supported by the PSs.
Yeah, wonderful. And it's easy to, as Caymanians would say, perhaps get a little bit what we call scattered brain, right? Where you're like, oh my God, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And it's almost calming to, and this is where planning is so important. Sometimes we have sessions on here where, we have this discussion. I know that our listeners like, okay, Sandy's in teacher mode today. And I'm like, okay, we got to calm our energy a little bit, and we got to talk about how we're going to get there. And that requires planning, short-term planning, medium-term, and the longer term. And wrapped up in all of that is the concept of having a vision, of knowing exactly where it is that you actually are going. And then the roadmap, you got to actually plan this out. So lots of positive comments this morning. Mr. Amelia in the house saying, nice to know my premier. Blessed Wednesday to Lady D. Olivia is here with us. Deborah says the best government we've had in a long, long time. Hats off to them. Thank you, Miss Debbie. Miss Marjorie sending everyone some good morning commentary. We've got Miss Dorothy here with us, and Anthony made me laugh this morning. He said, Sandy did it again, ministerial lineup. He is here for it. Miss Marjorie says, I went driving all over the island with my grandson. He was visiting for 1 week, and she went to Northside, East End, West Bay, and she says all looks great. And hats off to Minister Jay. I mean, a couple months ago during the Christmas, I went to Northside for the first time in a little bit, and I was just blown away by what's happening out there. So the island is indeed looking amazing. So Mr. Ellard Miles has a question here. Says, can the public be updated on when it is expected to bring the Residential Tenancy Act into law? So this is one area that we do get a lot of concerns around, whether or not there's going to be like a tenancy board. There's just so much that happens in that area that both tenants and landlords can see as incredibly unjust, but more tenants, they're normally in the position of the weaker party, so to speak. And so there's reform, I know, that has been sitting on the tables for a really, really long time. Do you believe that your government will be able to get to that piece of legislation?
I do.
I can take that question
You
for
can
you.
definitely take it.
Sandy, what I can tell you right now is my team is actually working on the tenancy law as we speak. I don't think we will have it for the first sitting of Parliament, but definitely for the second sitting of Parliament, we definitely should be ready to go. And that'll be also taken into public consultation and everything else. So very shortly, we should be able to have something out to the public, so they can look at it before we take it down to Parliament. But it is well on its way.
All right, Mr. Ellard, that should answer that for you. So
And
let's
maybe if I could add, just so public education.
Yes.
The Parliament session for 25-26 concluded with the last meeting. So now what I believe Minister Jay is referring to when he means not the first sitting, but the next one, the next meeting, is that come June starts a fresh session.
Okay.
And then towards the end of June, mid to late June, we would then have the first meeting of the first session for 26-27. And then under the standing orders is a mandatory break for July and August, and then the next meeting would then be September. So he might be looking either September or then possibly November, but depending on how consultation goes. But just in the mind of the public, that's how the parliamentary cycle runs.
All right. And of course, your theme around celebrating your first year as a unified team, the NCFC, is meaningful momentum. Perhaps we could take a minute and just reflect on what does that mean? It's a nice catchy phrase, but what does it mean to the NCFC?
Thank you. We thought it accurately captured. So if you just name a few things that got done early, the most significant immigration reform in over a decade and a half, which is not an easy issue. It's not a small, narrow issue. I say maybe the Companies Act that maybe police practitioners on the island know. Immigration cuts across the entire country. So it was easy to have been done already. So the fact that it took us as a team to get behind and say, look, this should come, there's no surprise to anybody. This featured in every one of the candidate forums, featured in the leaders' debate, every interview. The country was crying out, grew to a size without significant immigration reform that fit the times, had to be done. So that is meaningful momentum. Is it the project coming to an end? No, we're now looking at the permanent categories, how you accumulate points, looking at the residency by investments. So it's continuing, but that's what the momentum is. You've already given meaningful action, and now you're building on that as you have traction to continue going forward. The touching on the Residential and Tenancy Act, that is all encompassed under a 10-year housing policy. First time that the ministers produced something for the first time in the country's history where you could study the issue, look out 10 years, have short, medium, long-term goals. You then have the minister who's looking at matters in terms of health, major reforms in terms of indigent healthcare coverage, the things we've been screaming about that's been part of OAG reports, Office of the Auditor General reports for years have gotten done. Multi-year licenses on the trade and business license. So people have been crying out for those. If I'm a known multi-generational Caymanian business where the shareholding and the beneficial ownership doesn't change, why am I filing the same documents every year? As a driver's license, make people pay. If you have a positive obligation that if you sell your shares, and we need to know that, but provided everything remains equal, just give you 5 years and go about your business. These are things that are just sitting on a shelf. Term limits for the civil service. Cayman, to their credit, they didn't argue with us too much about it. They came forward. They knew we were going to bring it up. So let's figure out a way on how we're going to do it. So meaningful momentum meaning that the public can see action and know that more is coming down the pipeline, which is how I think the annual report is reflected.
Yeah, and Sandra, just to go back from what the Premier mentioned about the immigration reform, I would say that pretty much every one of us probably campaigned on immigration reform. And as we first got in as the government, I think that was a key topic. Everybody says, look, that's the number one thing that we want to make sure that we all work together to huddle to get across the goalposts as quickly as we can. And, and again, that was a huge one for us, right? I mean, it took a lot of hours and
A lot of talk.
days and nights and talks and back and forth to get it to where it got down to Parliament to be able to get it in there. But again, we went in as a group, as we all started off saying, strong personalities in there, and we got it done and we carried it across the borderline. And again, is it a complete document finish? No, it's working to the next stages of it and the other stages of it. But the number one thing that I think that we would say, although we all had different policies and different things within our ministry that we wanted to see done, that immigration one was the top priority throughout everybody's list. It said, look, I think we would probably had hands up between everybody wanting to be the immigration minister at some point, right? Because we wanted to make sure that we're going to carry across the goalposts. But we all said, you know what, we're going to work collectively together and get this done for the betterment of the country. And that's where I think we ran with that. That was our first one down in Parliament down there.
And just to add on what has been said so far about immigration, I think a strong signaling coming from the government from the very outset was the rebranding of the ministry. The Ministry of Caymanian Employment and Immigration. First, focusing on ensuring that our Caymanians are, connected with opportunities, because it's not that the opportunities are not there. And then for the areas where there is a gap, ensuring that there is an immigration aspect and looking out for attracting in those areas. I think that from the very beginning, at least for me, and I know that it's something that we were all pretty excited about, the rebranding is sending a message to our people that this ministry is about Caymanian employment and immigration.
And as you say, go giving a really strong shout out, Minister Anglin, been all over education.
Yes.
And it's been a thing of beauty to watch him and Minister Miles get together and say, basically what we are trying to put together in terms of a national workforce is from baby to the C-suite. How you get educated through the ranks and how the country plans its workforce, and to see them working hand in hand and have that synergy. Because remember, they worked together before, right? As civil servant and minister.
That's right.
So you can see their philosophies are aligned. It's a very, very powerful combination to see both of them at both ends of the spectrum. Education, getting our people trained up, and then getting them into the jobs that fit their qualifications.
And to add to that, Premier, that's one of the areas that I'm excited about as well, is from the health standpoint, being able to provide more health care pathways for Caymanians, and working with Minister Anglin from an education standpoint, and again, Minister Miles. So that's something very early stages, because we're probably going to have to look at legislative changes from the health side. But again, being able to make a difference so that our young Caymanians can choose to stay right here in Cayman and get trained to work in any profession, well, any area in the medical profession.
Very good. Well, we've got questions and comments definitely coming in from our listeners. So we're going to get to some of those here in a second. And again, folks, I invite you to, have a look at the Momentum, the first year document. You're welcome to go in and read that. It's on the government website, because there's quite a bit of information in there. So good governance and public safety, again, historic coalition agreement signed, setting the standards for governance and collaboration across government entities. CCTV network expanded into the sister islands. And I think this was so important, supporting crime prevention and enhancing public safety. Can I just say, yesterday I was having a discussion with someone, I can't even remember who it was now, but we were talking about the inclusion inclusion of the sister islands and how this government has really gone out of their way to be inclusive, because it is the Cayman Islands, plural. There's 3 islands,
That's
and
right.
this government has really gone out of its way to be inclusive of the 3 islands. Let's talk a little bit about what that has looked like for the NCFC government.
There is a, how will I put this? Powerful personality, maybe not as tall in stature, but powerful personality who
Yes.
reminds us week in and week out, we are not the Cayman Islands without the sister islands. And for some of us, they give him perfect credit for that. But in addition to that, he's also, for many of us, pushing on an open door. I know how Minister Jay feels about the sister islands. I know my participation with the sister islands, even going back to last term. I know how Minister Kathy feels about it. I know how we feel when we go visit. It's just like, man, look at this. We run down to Star Island. we get breakfast when we get off the airplane. I like to go get the Barracuda Bar burger for lunch. So we know how we feel about it. We like going up on the bluff. We like seeing it. So it's important at every stage that they're not forgotten about. But even if we lost our minds, that powerful member for Cayman Brac West and Little Cayman would never have us forget it. He brings energy. He brings intelligence. He's always looking out for the sister islands in terms of short, medium, longer term goals. It's refreshing, and it fits well within his portfolio of both home affairs and then also district admin. There's a synergy there. So give a huge amount of credit to Minister Nick DaCosta, who is keeping the sister islands at the forefront.
Fantastic. All right. So
you were there, Sandra, when we came together as a team to confirm that Little Cayman Airfield is going to stay exactly where it is.
Absolutely.
That's all of us coming to a decision unified within caucus and cabinet to say, we know there's a case for someplace else, but if we're really listening to the people and we're a people-driven government, that's where it should belong. That's where it should stay, and it's the path of least resistance.
Can I try?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
I just want to say how much I've enjoyed this second term attending the events that have been held in Cayman Brac and even in Little Cayman, just seeing how the people are so happy that the government is, there's a lot more presence there in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. And I know that when we first took office, there were a lot of plans that had already sort of been marked out, but if we can give Minister Jay a big shout out, like what he has done with the agriculture show in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, and all the members, well, not all, but most of the members, going over for that event. I think, again, the momentum has started with us being a whole lot more inclusive of Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
You remember the first cabinet meeting that we had there was in August, Minister Jay helping to secure the lighthouse land?
Yes. Oh, man.
I think, again, Sandra, you had the photo before we were able to post it.
Yes. I don't reveal my sources. All I can tell you is next month we are celebrating our 9-year anniversary here at CMR. Yes, June the 30th we got coming up, and all I can tell you is in that amount of time we have really secured some amazing sources all over the world. So we will certainly continue to build on that. So there's some questions that are coming in that are very, very specific to ministers, right? So let me say this. Tomorrow, Minister Jay is going to be back with us tomorrow morning. So the questions, and there's a couple that have come in already, I'm sending to his team so we can make sure we put that together in a document and we don't miss anything. But all of the questions that are coming in relation to his ministry, please rest assured that tomorrow we will have full show with just the minister, again, as part of our Minister Matters segment. So really, really appreciate it. Carrie says, sounds great that unorganized administratively. Unfortunately, the country is a mess. Carrie, I'm going to invite you to test out something called positivity. It's a wonderful thing. Mm-hmm. I'm going to just leave you there with that thought. Miss Sue says, Kathy, that she's still waiting for you to call her to check on her. So don't remember if you remember that memo, but just a reminder there. Sue Arch Parsons in the house says, good morning. Thank you for always making yourselves available for questions. Could the honorable ministers address the Georgetown dump? AKA the landfill. Can we possibly ever have a proper waste treatment facility in the near future? Now, I know Minister Wilkes, we were supposed to sit down and do a sit down interview, and the time got away from us. It was right before I was traveling. And there's so much on my trip that I learned about the environment, going to Ecuador, going to the Galapagos. It was just an amazing experience that really made me reflect on how we're doing things, especially environmental protections. This is something that we're going to have to sit down and talk about. But are you sort of bigger picture able to tell us, what's the plan here when it comes to the dump?
So good question, Ms. Susan. And I know that your concern is a concern that many of the people in the country have. I do, Sandra, want to come on and do a special segment because I cannot go through in detail exactly all that we want or what we have planned on this show. What I can say is that the government has a plan where right now there's 4 stages that we're working through. The first stage is exiting the current arrangement from the previous project agreement. That is critical in order for us to move forward with our interim plan. We've also increased our mitigation measures. We are now covering and processing the waste in a fashion that would prevent future fires. Of course, again, more conversations need to be had with the public on some of the items that are being disposed, because we're finding that some of the products, for example, batteries, can cause fires. So that's a whole nother conversation that we will have. What I'd like to do, Sandra, is to come on with some of my technical team, definitely the director, Richard, Mr. Sims, and my deputy chief officer, Ms. Nika, so that we can share in detail, what the plan looks like. In addition to the mitigation measures, we're also planning for what will happen when the landfill reaches capacity, because we are aware that we're going to reach capacity before we'll get our long-term solution, finished. Because number one, you have to go through a certain procurement process. With it being a large major works process, you have the 3-stage business case. So in the interim, there is an adjacent piece of property to the landfill itself that we plan to line and do a properly engineered landfill, which will be used as a, I guess you could say, like a hangover. It will actually give us more time while we work on a long-term solution. So, or not work on a long-term solution, work on our long-term solution. And in doing the long-term solution, you have to go through a 3-stage business case, which considers the various options. So that's where, we can get into a bit more of that, what those options that we're going to consider will look like. And again, Sandra, I'm hoping that we can lock in a date and you can announce that to the public, give everybody a fair amount of time to plan so that they can tune in, and then we can discuss this very clearly, concisely, and everyone can walk away feeling comforted that there is a plan. And I know the lady that made the comment earlier that you encouraged to exercise positivity. At the same time, she's right. We found a mess. There are a lot of things on the island. The landfill is one of them. It's not a today problem. It's a problem that has been ongoing for decades.
Right.
And so what we are doing differently now is trying to get to the root of the problem and figure out how we can move forward and solve a lot of these long-standing national issues. So I say to her that she has a government that is working very hard to ensure that we can clean up the mess. And to Miss Sue, I will give you a call, ma'am.
All right. Celine says, NCFC government, thank you for coming on the show this morning. I'm so proud of this government led by the Honorable Premier Andre. This is the hardest working, most united Caymanian focused, transparent, and promises made, promises kept government we've had in a very long time. Keep up the good works. We are with you. Thank you, Miss Celine. I'm sure the group appreciates that. So let's touch on some other broader areas that have been addressed falling under public services. We've had the My EID launched, giving Caymanians a single digital identity and making access to government services more efficient, which, by the way, I need to go get mine. I want to try to do that maybe next week. I've been messaging the ministerial team about arranging that. And then we have an enhanced gov.ky, making more services available online, such as a new platform for online passport renewal for adults. Can I just stick a pin right there? Premier Andre Ebanks, you were talking earlier about the business licensing, and just last week, I think it was, or the week before, I had to renew on the 8th. It was due. I had to renew one of my licenses. And I was so tickled pink about having the option of doing the multi-year. I know you mentioned this earlier, of doing the multi-year option, because my God, one of the banes of my existence is every single year trying to remember to do, my corporate stuff, which, I have to do by March deadline. And then each license that comes in, having to renew it within time and, not be penalized for not doing so. I've been requesting, and I know this falls under you, but I have been requesting to have, because there's a lot of people who are reaching out with questions. Even yesterday, I had a business owner. Well, how did it work, Sandy? How does it work? Like, what fees are you paying? So there's a lot of questions around renewal of business licenses and some of the new changes, including if you want to take advantage of the what's it called? The reduction in fees. What is that called? Yeah. So
micro and small business.
Yes, that there's been some changes there. And so I wonder if you could commit to getting some of your team members on the program to kind of go through the finer details there and really explain and answer questions that the community has around that.
First of all, I really, really regret that it's too late to change the report, because I would have added as an achievement that Sandra's tickle pink. That I really would have put that as the 50th page to the document. Okay, maybe we'll do that for year 2. She's tickle pink. To answer the question straight on its head, yes. We actually talked about it within the commerce team. So I travel again for the CFATF plenary next week, and then which is in Trinidad, and then do some business development in New York for financial services. And then the week I come back, which is the first week of June, is when I want to appear personally alongside the commerce team to go through it. Because I think, one, you pointed to a powerful thing, which is what I alluded to earlier, of having the multi-year license, but then also go through the micro and small business fees, and then some of the changes there, and discuss it. By then, we might even have had more policy development around, and we could discuss it on the show, our unified approach that there needs to be a moratorium on LCCLs for categories of business in Cayman, where Caymanians can now do those businesses. None of us disagree with the history of that legislation. It's a creature of its time. It was when we didn't have Caymanians that were able to either have the wherewithal financially or even have the capabilities back in the day, so we needed to court those businesses. So our legislative foreparents were correct. But now, and I think I said this on the floor of Parliament, I think they'd be expecting their successors to say, hang on a second, now that Caymanians, this was always the dream. If now you actually have Caymanians that are excelling at these businesses, it's appropriate now to freeze that. Nobody is saying is that if there's a category of business that we honestly look at each other and say we can't handle or needs to be part of the fabric, that's fine. But as a general rule, now that we have qualified, capable Caymanians with financial wherewithal, now it's appropriate to freeze that legislation, relook at it, and determine the categories where that's now going to be reserved for Caymanians, unless there's some bespoke, narrow, special circumstance. So very excited to come on the show and be part of that conversation with you, just me and the commerce team.
Okay, wonderful. All right. As Anthony would say, we're doing it again, Anthony. Anthony is asking about the disposal of all new EV vehicles being imported. So let me now, Minister Wilkes, I'm going to put the same question to you. We need some of your team members to come on here, including Mr. Sims, who is head of DEH, to answer some of these questions. Because one thing that is, patently obvious is that there's lots of pieces of the sustainability puzzle. And let me just pause and say that we haven't yet aired it, but we do have the full recording of the just 2 weeks ago now of Minister Wilkes attending the first ever sustainability luncheon with the Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce. And there was a lot of questions, as you can see, Minister, that people were, it was like rapid fire. People were putting a lot of questions out there. People obviously care about sustainability. They care about the environment. And the thing about the sustainability puzzle is there's so many pieces. So there's economic, social, environmental. And what is this is a question I have now, because again, we need to have your team on, but what is the single biggest risk that could derail this meaningful momentum agenda that you are currently managing? I feel like it could be the landfill, but I'll let you answer it.
Yeah, I guess the risk, that's a tough question.
I know. I'm sorry.
I
We get the tough questions sometimes.
Anything in the universe. That's a very, what do you think? It could be the landfill. It could be something health related. It could be a hurricane. It could be anything. But I think that what is critical is how we manage whatever it is that comes our way, and we remain coordinated, and we remain focused on addressing the issues as having foresight. But specific to the landfill, I think that one of the things that I've been discussing a lot with the team is that with landfills come fires. It's inevitable, and what we're trying to do is to mitigate the fires by ensuring that we're adding other measures. Thankfully, my colleagues supported the request for us to get additional equipment to add additional cover. So we're doing everything that we can to mitigate. And the question about the EV, I'll leave that for Mr. Sims to answer when he comes on. So what I'll say to Mr. Russell again is, Sandra, once we have that data, I'll ask you to share that with the public so that everybody can tune in. But I know that we are, that they have been processing the EV batteries, and there has been a few challenges. I haven't received an update from Mr. Sims as to what the plans are for getting, the batteries discarded. But I know that there are a few options that have been put forward to the government.
Yeah. All right. Ms. Gwendolyn is here. She says, good morning to all. Please ask the panel, why are we not using Mr. Wally Whitaker's expertise on the dump project? Because this is one of the most expense. I feel like I want to answer this for you, but I won't.
And Sandra, just to help go a little bit more into my Minister of Environment, I don't think there's anything out there that's going to derail the project. What the minister did is she looked at it with a holistic approach, and to make sure that we're getting the right deal and delivering the right project for the country, not just going out and trying to bankrupt the country with something that would have been outrageous in numbers. Right? When we look around the Caribbean, we see where sorting facilities can be done for a lot better value for money. And I think that was the approach that the minister looked at also. And so there's nothing that says that, this project is going to be derailed in any direction anyway. What we need to do is we're making sure that we're getting the right project, and it's going to be for the right benefits and for the people and for this Cayman Islands. That is the meaningful thing for it.
Yeah.
Correct. And we were there with her last term. It's a bold step to just take a moment to pause when you got up in Parliament to say, it's not an easy thing to do, to say a very complex, huge arrangement that was done. Already the country was owing fees, to say this is too expensive. Look at all the reports. Can we do something that's more fit for purpose? And now that you set out, I think, a very reasonable step plan, I agree with you. It's not to look at it and wish on anything to fail. You've You've got an action plan. It is achievable. You've got us behind you.
Mhm.
We're going to get this done.
Yes.
I mean, and the other thing, Si, if you look back years, almost like maybe more than a decade ago, probably even close to 18 years ago,
Mm.
we were going from at one point where we were going to get a sorting facility done for absolutely almost free
Mhm.
to now where we were going to $1 billion sorting
Yeah.
facility, right?
Well, this is the problem, in my humble opinion, Minister. Nothing ever goes down in price. So
Yeah.
the more we wait to find a solution, I mean, I think you guys believe you can get it cheaper than what was being proposed, but the more we wait, you're not going to get that solution for any cheaper. You might get a smaller solution at a smaller price, but that's
We're
not
going to get
it's not
a
apples for
better
apples.
solution also at
Yes.
the same time.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, the price tag. I
That's
think
what we
that
need to look at, is
sometimes-
making sure that we're getting the right solution for the country,
Correct.
Right.
right? Not for individuals. That's
Yeah.
what we need to make sure that we're doing first.
Yes. And so even when Gwendolyn asked the question about a particular individual, as I was asking the question, I was thinking to myself, if I were the minister, how would I answer this? And I'll tell you what the biggest risk in my mind is. It's the political interference that we've always had. That's why we've never gotten it done, right? So it's the this person needs to get a piece of the pie. This person, it's like, it's going to be challenging to just get professionals together to deliver a solution and set aside all of the nepotism and the friendships and everything else, just finding the best people at whatever the best possible price is going to be, because it's never going to be, a cheap solution, so to speak. I think that's the difficulty, is trying to find that solution.
You're right, and I love the way that you put that. What I can give comfort to the lady who asked the question is that what I have done with the support of my colleagues is we've put together a technical committee or a steering committee that comprises of individuals from society, some of them who have experience previously with the landfill, and they're going to bring institutional knowledge, save us hopefully some time with sharing what experiences they found, and that will be announced very soon. Those names, but I think that the country will have comfort when they hear who we have that's working with the government to work alongside with the ministry team and with the technical experts, because you still need to have that local knowledge, right? What better than to have individuals who were previously involved, with looking at the waste management solution.
Yes. Okay.
If there is an issue, Sandra, if you're also, not to paint a completely rosy picture, because we know that there are challenges. And if you're thinking about issues that are top of mind for us, where we know we have to reconcile views, since it just happens to be the three of us today, and we didn't plan it this way when we came on, but I did mention it, is that we know that there is a natural tension between the built environment and the natural environment. So we are working together as a team to help resolve those tensions, to bring out a better balance between the stakeholders within development and within the environment. The two ministers, day to day, week to week, seeing them in caucus, get along fine.
Yeah.
But we know that within their individual ministries and stakeholders and departments, there is a natural tension. One is to build, one is to protect. So what we're doing is putting together a forum. Some surveys have already gone out to relevant stakeholders, to have a forum called Cayman Forward. They'll be at the top of June, to say, how can we now look at each of your pieces of legislation and policy? What, if any, modifications need to be made to make them work better? Because the country needs both. It's not an easy exercise, and it's not unusual. Look within the Ministry of Financial Services. Those who are in the industry know there have been some historic, interesting battles between lawyers and accountants, and that's within one ministry. So and they're all working within financial services. So imagine two different industries working at different purposes. But at the end of the day, as long as we keep the country in mind, or as long as we're working as a team, and these two have a great synergy, we're going to also get that done, so that the country doesn't continue to go into acrimony, expensive legal battles, which are unnecessary, because both need each other. The other one, which will lead into cost of living, because I don't think we should leave the show without talking about cost of living, is getting the better balance to race to get to solar. So right now we're again united. We're putting together the fuel assistance program that was is replicated from the 2022 program with some modifications to bring about some relief. But at the end of the day, with emerging global energy prices, which could repeat, you would just have to do this again potentially in 8, 12 months. How do we get ahead of this? We need to have cheaper electricity. We're a country in the Caribbean under the sun. We need to accelerate the solar power, reconcile the views between the stakeholders within that industry to have a better balance for the country. Because when you look at the ESO data and the bar graph, by a mile, and I think it's reflected in the report, by a mile, housing and energy costs are the top expenses for households. Food is here. So although you feel food because you go to the grocery store once, twice a week, you're seeing it, you're feeling it every day. But by a mile, the energy and the cost of your house is more. If we can lower the cost of energy throughout the entire country, marketplace included, then you have more money in your pocket to go to Hurley's, Kirk's, and Paul, and in the wider marketplace. That's what we're looking to resolve.
Right.
And these aren't easy, because if they were easy, they've been done already.
Yes. Yeah. And of course, with the economy, there's a lot of things that, as previous governments have said, that are outside of the control of this government when you talk about the international factors that play a key role in, the rise of inflation and other things.
And that's one of the things I said to another media house and we talk about in caucus.
Mhm.
Yes, we know cost of living is an issue and we are working on it. But it's not to say that every other country in the world has cracked the case and what's happening with Cayman, why aren't you all doing anything about it? Every country in the moment right now is struggling with this because, as you just alluded to, there are factors outside of your controls. If there are conflicts overseas that increase energy prices globally, that's outside of the levers of the direct local government in most and not all the countries. So yes, but that doesn't mean you rest on your laurels and do nothing. That's why we've stepped up. We reinstituted the program and have a longer term vision, and also included in the intermediate program to foam some of the vulnerable homes in, where we know that energy escapes and that increases their energy bills. So at the end of the day, we are working on it. We feel it too. We have to pay our bills too. It's not easy, but stay with the government and watch as we try to implement realistic plans, because you also have to be prudent with the country's finances. Next thing you know, you do something that is a drain on the expenses, and then you get the criticism the other way. Well, are you really managing the finances of the country in a responsible way outside the framework? So you do have to have that balance, but you have a committed government that is seriously taking action to try to resolve the issues the best way we can.
All right. So some of your questions again, Lady D, your question is probably more appropriate for Minister J. He is back tomorrow, so please tune in tomorrow. We have Real Michelle asking about anti-money laundering convictions. I think maybe that's Minister Andre, Financial Services. Yes. So this is a bit of a specific question, but she says, what does a conviction for anti-money laundering look like? And what has been the most significant conviction to date? I don't know if you have that off the top of your head, but.
Well, what it looks like can vary depending on the severity of the case. It depends on how extensive the scheme was. In terms of significance, there are several cases that when we were on the FATF gray list last term that were brought about and were taken, publicly known cases. I don't want to name and shame anybody, but publicly known cases where the country was able to demonstrate that. And this is what counts, because international financial centers around the world will eventually have a bad actor. The test is whether or not you can investigate, whether or not you can bring the bad actor to justice within a court, judged by their peers, and then be able to deliver a judgment to show that you're a country of laws. And that's what occurred in the last term, and that was very much part of the integral part of how we were able to remove ourselves from the gray list, because what international assessors want to know is, do you have the guardrails in place in case something goes wrong?
Yep. Okay. All right. Fantastic. Let's take a few WhatsApp comments, and I'm cognizant that the time went by so quickly this morning, as always.
But you, like you
Um,
said, Sandra, you'll have the minister back. You'll have
yes.
me in a couple of weeks' time with the commerce team, and then you'll also have the minister coming back.
Yes. All right. So this person says, good morning. I'm just happy to have a decent minister of education this time around. Great government. Another person says, can you ask the premier if they plan to do a long-term plan similar to Vision 2008? Jamaica has Vision 2030. The USA has Vision 2028. Them have a plan. We have a plan? Hell, DART has a 30-year plan for Cayman Bay. So, we talk about as you get in as a government, initially do your SPS document,
Yes.
which is your sort of, 2 to 4 year plan. But are we looking at a broader plan for the country as a whole, similar to Vision 2008?
I think you mean, so the SPS and the budget is already a broad plan. But I
Right.
think what you mean is in terms of duration. So
Yes.
the focus of this next 2-year cycle is
Yeah.
to now resolve the long-standing issues. Because until we address those, then it's going to be
Mhm.
harder to then take the country any further forward. So we know we have a
Yeah.
vision for a stronger, fairer Cayman. What we're trying to do in 26, 27 is to, as much as possible, address the long-standing issues. Then go forward with future planning in terms of where the country is going to go to next. But without resolving some of these critical fundamental issues, we may be no further ahead. And this is what I meant at the top of the show, that you set lofty goals that aren't really achievable within the first 2 years, and then nothing happens.
Mhm. Wonderful. All right. Another comment here says, good morning, everyone. I'd like to send a huge thank you to Minister Kathy Ebanks Wilkes. I had a medical issue with her dad and I emailed her with the details, and in days she had solved the issue. Again, I say thanks to her and all the ministers who make themselves available. So thank you to that listener of the program. Lady Michelle, Miss Sue is asking about retired Caymanians. People here get help they need, as there's some people here getting lots of help from government who are receiving help. I'm a little bit confused by that, but I think the question is, how do retired Caymanian people here get some help they need, as there's some people here getting lots of help from the government who are receiving help? Okay, so I guess this is retirees. What is the plan?
It could be social development. So there's
Yeah,
a
I was wondering.
range of amendments that I think Minister Isaac has coming for the Older Persons Act, and I think additional reforms that he's looking at for the Financial Assistance Act. So that legislation was passed 2022, came online 3 years later in 2025. It's now been tested. He's now looking at how he can actually improve the policy going forward, which is what we were talking about earlier, indigent coverage and healthcare coverage for seniors, and how the country's going to plan health insurance is another big area in which we're trying to help not just seniors, but also the entire country. So stay tuned for that. Well,
Yeah.
Sandra, while we have just a few minutes, I was going to invite each of the ministers to do a bit of a wrap up before.
Right. Can I just read this one? It's a little bit long, but it was on point when it comes to sustainability. This person says the single greatest risk to derailing sustainability momentum is a loss of integrity in the legislative commitment to it. If the EW arterial moves ahead on a route that was not subject to the EIA, that was done, then how is that legally sound, let alone sustainably responsible? Sustainable development advice is often ignored. How is this sustainably minded? Why are so many unpermitted actions given after the fact approvals to absolve them from environmental responsibility? What is the point of having environmental policy if efforts to circumvent it are far greater than the efforts to protect its integrity? Even this exercise he's talking about is serious, a risk to lessening / removing the legislative obligations needed, which can weaken integrity. So some comments and questions all in one there for this government to think about when it comes to, sustainability momentum.
So there's a number of issues that run through that post. I don't think it's all one question.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us are thinking about weakening anything. We're talking about how you make sure that they interpret it correctly to work the way that they're intended.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of, and that will then actually, I think, strengthen integrity. In terms of the East-West Arterial, we're committed to doing the road. As it goes stage by stage and reasonable, achievable amounts, we'll then look at each stage and then be able to decide what is the best route for the country. So at the moment, we know we need the road. We're committed to the road. And as we take it stage by stage, we'll then be able to assess which angles are best for the country. But in the meantime, rest assured that all views are going to be heard and will come to the best decision in the best interest of the people that came out.
Okay. Final remarks as we wrap up today's segment.
Ladies first.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Well, Sandra, I want to thank you for giving us an opportunity to come on this morning and share with the public our 1-year update. I'd first like to just publicly thank my colleagues, the members of cabinet, as well as the parliamentary secretaries, and our chief of staff and the team from the office of the premier for all that they do to make this job something that I get excited about every day to show up. And I want to thank the ministry team, the Ministry of Health, Environment, and Sustainability, which is a very large ministry. And I brag all the time. Last time I bragged that the team with environment was a small team, but they worked so hard. That remains the same, even more so now because we're working on the long-term waste management solutions. So I want to thank the team for all of their hard work. And then with the health team in the ministry, the ministry is led by Chief Officer Tamara. And I want to thank her for her leadership and for all of the staff in the Ministry of Health for all that they've been doing. We've been navigating through a lot of health reforms. We've been navigating through, the landfill fire, planning for a future waste management solution. Last but not least, I'd like to also thank all of the directors from the different departments that fall under my remit. Their jobs are not easy, as well as the CEO for HSA. Thank them all for all that they do. I'm looking forward to coming back and sharing with the public a lot more about what we're doing with the waste management, and then in the future, giving more tangible results of the work that we're doing right now for reform.
Okay, thank you very much. Minister Jay?
Thank you, Sandra, for having us here today with you. It's been it's always excited to get involved with the radio shows, to be out there just to hear from the listening audience and hearing their views and getting their scorecards. That's how I always get my scorecard, to see whether we're on the right road or if we're off on a beaten path, whichever it is. But it is a privilege to just be here to represent the people. A lot of people don't realize how much work goes in the background to just getting policies done, getting legislation done, hearing the different views, managing the different points of people, individuals. As a writer also wrote just now about the East-West, their consideration of what they think about the EIA, but then multiple other people's consideration of what they think the government should be looking at when they consider a East-West road. Listening to the audience from Bodden down, listening to the audience from East End, listening from those from North Side, those that go through it, those that struggle through the views and the problems every single day. Those are the people that we listen to, not just just one point in this, say that we take this road and that we're saying that we have to deliver the road and that's it. That we're not listening to it. We're taking a holistic view on every single thing that it comes to the people. But I got to thank, big shout out to the NRA crew out there, everybody within the ministry, within all of my departments, all the hard work that they do, the dedicated work. They really, we get the polishing the limelight and everything for it. But we do get the beating when they get it wrong too. So, right. But again, it is, they need to, the civil servants really work hard in the background. I have a hardworking team in the ministry that we've built up over the past 4 years. Hardworking chief officer, deputy chief officers. Not going to name them all out because they're all strong in their own sectors. And again, strong personalities also, because they do have their own different personalities when it comes to everything. But it's a wonderful team to work with. As the minister mentioned, it's excited to know that you come to work and you have a motivated team to work with, just to get things done. And again, one of the things I always mention to my team is that I put them on a clock, basically like us. I said, look, don't think that you're on a civil service clock. I want you to be on the same clock as that everybody within the 4-year term, we're all on the same clock, and this is what we got to deliver for the people of this country. So I just want to thank you for having us here.
Yes, thank you.
The audience, again, I will be on Sabrina's show tonight, and then I look forward to being on your show first thing in the morning. So happy to be here with you.
Yeah, thank you very, very much. Honorable Andre Ebanks.
Thank you for having us on. Those of us who are coming back, looking forward to coming back again. I think I also am on Sabrina Speaks, if not tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow evening. And all the different media outlets that we've been speaking to, because it's important to take stock. It's been a year. We have a report. I think it's easily digestible for the public to be able to see what have been some of the key achievements, and importantly, it lays out the things that are upcoming so you can see a roadmap to the future. It has been, I think, I speak for all of us, an honor and a duty to do this job. You can't get to ministerial level unless you're an MP. And so we also need to thank our constituency offices. While we're busy here trying to do as much as we can for projects and policy and legislation, they're also on the ground within the constituency office. We get there where we can, but we also got to thank those constituents and the legislation that we just passed to help strengthen and give them even more resources. So when you look at the body of work from constituency level to district level, to national level and international level, it all matters. I just got back from a trip to Asia, and to see clients of long time users of financial services products, not just enjoy the products, but also are keeping an eye on the government. Are we using products from a country that's stable, that makes predictable decisions? All of it matters. So without me saying anything unprompted, they can see the unified approach among us. They can see that you can't deliver a report like this and have a strong start if you don't have a strong team that is working together. So I leave your audience with this. You have a unified team who's coming together in common cause to create a stronger, fairer Cayman, because too many issues have been left on the shelf, cans kicked down the road, and you have a team that wants to resolve those and take Cayman from strength to strength. So thank you, each and everyone around the table. If I go around my head and the cabinet table, Minister Nick, Minister Jay, Minister Ralston, Minister Kathy, myself, DP Ruddy, Minister Michael, Minister Isaac, and then the 3 strong PSs, Wayne Panton, Heather Bodden, Miss Julie Hunter, unified team committed to UK Man to bring about this, not just for ourselves, but for the next generation and beyond. God bless.
Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day. All right, folks. So that is your NCFC government 1 year in. And I know that Renee is presently working on the article there that's going to include in the article the document, 49 pages, and it is a recap of what they've been able to accomplish. First year anniversary update, meaningful momentum. So check that out. It covers a wide range of topics. And I think that you will, at the very least, find it to be an interesting read. So yeah, check it out. I will certainly be having a perusal of it later on. I've already made some preliminary notes on it, and I will continue to read through it as well. So we thank the government. Anthony, yes, Anthony is noticing some movement, some positivity. And we're very, very pleased that the government appears to be more committed to engaging with the people. Ms. Pat, thank you for this comment. Hopefully they'll see this. Thanks for engaging with us, the people. Please continue to increase your involvement with us. And I think really that is all that people have ever wanted is access to their representatives. They want them to come on shows, do the whole media circuit and talk to the people of the Cayman Islands. Kesrick says NCFC, finally a government to listen to their Caymanian people. Thank you all for a very active year. Y'all hit the ground running, and we continue to pray for God to guide you always. Lady D says, thank you for taking the bull by the horn and not letting go until a solution can be reached that benefits the Caymanian people and all of our islands. Ms. Brenda says that I hope that one of those priorities is the mess at HSA, Minister Wilkes. Honey chill. All right, Miss Sue. Island Pearl, I did see your question, but I was pretty confident that that detailed question the minister was not going to be able to answer. I don't even know if she knows that that's going on. But what I did do is I screenshot your question, Island Pearl, and I've sent it to the civil servant who would best be equipped to answer that question, knowing that hopefully in the very near future, we're actually going to have them on the program. So stick a pin in that question, and we're going to come back to it. And if we don't get them in the next week or two, since I've sent it to them, I will get you an answer regardless, right? So that we can let you know all about that. Sipping on my tea this morning. I feel like this is this tastes very berry-ish. Like maybe this is hibiscus. Can I tell you guys something? You see those videos that it's like, how old were you when you found out something? I was this old when I found out that hibiscus and sorrel is the same thing. I didn't know that. Am I the only one that was thinking hibiscus was a different plant altogether? And so when we were in Ecuador, apparently they love hibiscus. They actually call it something the Jamaica. But it's like a drink of Jamaica or something. And so I was looking at it on the menu at the hotel that we stayed at. And I said to Marlon, I'm like, why is the Spanish translation, what do they call it? Something of Jamaica. Why do they keep calling hibiscus that? And he's like, that's because it's sorrel. And I was like, was it Florida de Jamaica? Maybe. And I was like, what? Hibiscus is sorrel? Why did I not know this? But honey child, they had the best hibiscus drink mixes, especially on the boat. Now, it was a little bit hit or miss. I don't know why, but some bartenders got it right on the boat and then others, But the ones that got it right, I was like, oh my God, I could so have another one of these. They were just so good. So yeah, how did I not know this? The things that you don't know. But that's why you always have to be willing to learn, folks, because we don't know it all. And at the end of the day, I'm in learning mode every single day. I was learning some stuff this morning. Yes, thank you so much, Inspiring. Yeah, I didn't know that it was sorrel. I don't know what I was thinking, but I did not put that together. But this morning I was watching, when I'm getting ready, I like to listen to little snippets of like short podcast interviews and whatever. And I was listening to one about narcissists. Oh my God, we need to have Dr. Carlos. I'm going to beg Dr. Carlos to come back on the show, even just to do a little special with us. His wife, I know they're having a second baby. They're like super busy. He's doing different things with his career, but we got to get Dr. Carlos on here because I have so many questions about personalities and narcissists. And oh my God, watching a little segment this morning, apparently this lady is the formative narcissistic expert in the world. I didn't know that either. And I didn't even know who she was until this morning. So we need to get back into a few relationship episodes because I feel like those are like, amazing. All right, let's talk about this guy. I know yesterday when we left off with the show, I did promise that we'd get back to this guy who is going around being really disgusting and nasty, allegedly, in the public arena. And, El Rey says it's not the traditional hibiscus that we know. Sorrel is a type of hibiscus. Oh, like a subgene or something? Subgenome? Anyway, it was delicious. Everywhere I went, they seemed to have had it on the menu, and I was here for it. I was like, I'll be having that non-alcoholic beverage. Thank you very much. Okay, so we have this guy who we have received a number of complaints about now, that supposedly he's roaming around the Cayman Islands, fondling himself in public spaces, which is against the law, in case you needed to know. It's indecent exposure and or an indecent act. And you can and should be arrested for this type of behavior. So folks, if you see him, I don't know who he is or anything of the sort, but if you see him and you know who this man is, we're asking you to please contact the RCIPS, because I don't really know why they have been unable to track him down, because by several accounts, there have been numerous reports made about this individual. So there's a lady who says that he's the guy who was, outside of her bedroom window doing such things. And she had called from last year, I think it was December, and reported him to the police. She wasn't happy with how the police handled the situation, so much so that she even went to the ombudsman's office and filed a report with them about how it was handled. Nobody was ever arrested. She provided video footage. She says it looks like the same guy to her. And then we have this weekend, it was posted in women's group that, again, this man was seen out in public doing these things. He seems to like to hang out at beaches, which is disgusting. The whole thing's disgusting. You can't slice it any other way. But places where children are potentially at, and someone, decides to do this in a public space, like a beach, and parks are there, children are running around the beach. Come on, dude. Like, what kind of disgusting thing is this guy on? Like, seriously. So, he has also been alleged to have been at another beach in West Bay, which they call the Jerry Springer Beach. I never knew that was a thing, but there you go. And, again, the public was outraged by his behavior. I heard that some of the men there were about to slap him with a machete. They called the police, and they said that the police never showed up. So I don't know, like, what on earth? Good morning, caller. Hello.
Morning.
Hi. Good morning.
How are you?
Oh, look at you. I'm good. We missed your voice on the radio.
It's been a minute.
I know. How have you been?
I've been good. I just wanted to say hi, and also I just wanted to put a little comment in there about this indecent exposure.
Oh my God! Right?
This is why people take things into their own hands.
Mm-hmm.
Like those guys going after him with a machete or whatever. What's gonna happen is somebody's gonna end up hurting this man, because I can tell you, if he does something like that in front of my kids, my husband will hurt him. And then my husband is going to be the one who gets arrested and gets in trouble after this man has been reported several times and nothing has been done.
Yep.
So I just hope that they deal with that situation before it happens in front of the wrong people, and then people take things matters into their own hands.
I agree 100%. Absolutely. And now we have a photo. Thank you, my darling. Now we have a photo of him, a very clear photo of him. And I had some questions around this, because someone said to me, how can we identify? And I saw your question there, Anthony, saying, where's her footage? Do we have it so that we can compare? Now, to be fair to people, eyewitness testimony is the most unreliable form of testimony there is. I know this sounds weird, but it's just one of those things in law that we have, we're always taught forensically, and we know this. Eyewitness testimony is unreliable. So we've seen big cases. Yes, Your Honor, he was the one who grabbed my handbag. And it's particularly unreliable when someone is under a stressful situation. So they're being assaulted, they're being robbed, they're being whatever, the stress hormone, the cortisol hormones are on high alert, and you tend to get it wrong. So she says this is him. She believes this is him. Maybe we need to do an analysis of the video. But here's something that this got me to thinking about, right? We know that human beings Visually, we get things wrong, and people swear like, yes, that was him. I know it was him. Da, 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 da. And we know that, again, it's unreliable. It's so faulty. You'd be shocked and surprised. We've discussed it here in the program before, talking about this book about the gorilla experiment. And if you want to know how bad it is, go and watch the gorilla experiment, and you will understand that we just get it wrong, especially when we are in stressful situations. Now, having said that, in this age, modern age, we have technology. So look at this. Someone took a photo of him. You see the little silhouette one in the background? That was him trying to hide his face after they took his picture. Nasty old dog. After he was caught, then he's trying to hide his face. So, but thankfully, we have a very, very clear photo of him before he started to hide his face. So this is great. And what I want to say in relation to this now is we should start to look at the tech that is available. Facial recognition software is where I'm going with this, folks. It has the potential to be a game changer. So, every single time government sends out, the police now, when I talk about government, the police, they send out an image of someone, missing person alert, or here's a better picture of that one where he's hiding his face, missing person alert, or, wanted person, help us find this person. And I'm always in awe at how poor the photos look. I'm just like, really? That's the best image you had of this person? Like especially when people come in and work permits, don't they take photos and submit with work permits that are supposed to be, 4K quality, like decent quality photos? So I never understood how those photos always look so poor. Even parents, when these little kids go missing and you send out, this child is missing, y'all don't have decent photos of your children, because they be out of focus. They be from when the kid was 2 years old. Now it's a 14-year-old teenager getting in trouble, 15-year-old. And y'all don't seem to have no updated photos of your children. I'm just like, wow, like really? So I would not feel any kind of way if the government explored what options are available, and I'm sure AI is going to be your friend in this regard, what options are available to help us quickly, do facial recognition. That would include, you notice he has quite a few distinctive tattoos. That would include things like, tattoos, birthmarks, different marks that would be very, very difficult for a person to change throughout their life. Somebody has to know this man. I'm sorry, K-Man ain't that big yet, okay? Someone has to know who he is. And someone needs to come forward and identify him, because now you notice the dirty old dog trying to hide behind a pair of pants. You do know that those are jeans in his hand, right? At first I thought it was a towel. And then I looked a little bit closer and I said, oh, those are his pants in his hands. Like he literally got caught with his pants down. How disgusting is that? Fondling himself in public. At the beach. So if you missed this story, my God, this is so incredibly disturbing, because a lot of these people start out engaging in this kind of behavior, and then it escalates into, an assault of some sort. So we need to get this man off of the streets ASAP. The police need to be on the lookout for him. I'm surprised they've not responded, because I know I sent them some questions about this. And as of, this morning, I did not see an email response. So the community is outraged by this, but the police have not responded to this as yet. Why? A concerned mother said one guy in Jerry Springer Beach was going to chop his head off and had a machete too. Most of us kind of sit here going, he might have saved the public purse. But of course, as that last caller said, we don't want you guys to get in trouble. He's not going to be worth it. So come on, folks, someone identify him. Somebody knows this man. He is living with somebody. He got some girlfriend out there that is now looking at this photo. Oh, darn, this is my boyfriend. Or he's renting from me. He's a tenant. Or I've seen him working here or there. You know what I'm saying? Someone has to know who this man is. And I really would appreciate you guys coming forward in assisting the police in locating him. And you got to file your report. So I know that, the women's group is great for people complaining and sharing their experiences, but the police won't actually be able to do anything with him if you don't contact them and file a police report. Now that we've got this photo, this goes a long, long way. Yeah. And I think that this is very, very clear. It's a very clear photo. And I think obviously something has been done. Something needs to be done in relation to this. So there he is. Spread it around. Let people know who this guy is, and let us help the police be able to arrest him and hopefully put him in jail. And I also feel like he must need some kind of help. So let me be clear. If he's not a Caymanian, and I don't know where he's from, but if he's not a Caymanian, we need to get him convicted and then deported from the Cayman Islands for this kind of behavior. If he is a Caymanian and we can't deport him anywhere, that sucks for us. But what that then means is that we need to actually get him some therapy, because there's got to be something wrong with him. Voyeurism, doing these things in public like this, that's not normal. And normally it's indicative of some mental health issues, potentially some sort of deviance. So, let's get him into seeing a therapist on a full-time basis, because he's not going to be locked up forever for indecent exposure or, that sort of thing. So we gotta get him some help. So what a hot mess. Anthony says Jerry Springer Beach. Where that name come from? I don't know. I had to repeat. I'm like, Jerry Springer Beach. What's that? So apparently it's where Alfresca restaurant is, that little sliver of the beach there in West Bay. So I don't know where the name came from. I don't know if we had a Caymanian named Jerry Springer or what the backdrop is there. Morning, Miss Sherry Ann. Mr. Duke Marin says low IQ is a B word. Welcome to the Caymans. Ms. Brenda says you all can do a citizen's arrest. That is true. But again, you've got to make sure that when you do a citizen's arrest, you guys are willing to give statements to the police about what actually transpired. What a hot mess. Anthony says, Jerry Springer Beach. Why? Lots of drama. I don't know. I don't know the background behind the name. I'm sorry. And Roar Cayman says, when calling the police, do not report indecent behavior. Roar, you're so crazy. Report that kilos of cocaine has washed up. The response will be different. Unfortunately, this behavior is acceptable and seen as minor in a lot of the cultures we have employed with our CAPS, so they're not quick to act or see it as an emergency. Well, I know in the post over the weekend, I think they said they were there for like 40 minutes or something waiting, and no popo had showed up as yet. So I don't know what is up with that, but that's not good. Not a good look at all. So yeah, that's what you call a hot mess express. Okay. Let me see here now. Anthony says, Sandy, this is the day and age of filters. The women you online, what? The women you online, not the woman you see in the line. Okay. Getting jerk chicken or supermarket. Sometimes I will pass them and they cuss me for not speaking, but I genuinely didn't recognize them. Hashtag stop the filter BS. Oh my God. I don't know who you hanging out with there, Anthony, but okay. Do we need to put cameras around our public beaches? Well, we should have them anyway, as far as I'm concerned. Lifeguards assigned to address safety issues for locals and tourists. They can address these people committing these acts and call the authorities. Well, Andrew, we don't actually have any public lifeguards here in the Cayman Islands. I don't know if you've known this or you've ever noticed it, but we don't. So, yeah, there's that. Drone Cayman 345 says, yep, tell the police that he's got weed and they'll come running for him. Y'all are so scandalous to the RCIPS. Oh my goodness. Speaking of the RCIPS, we need to have them back on the program too. Because, y'all love it when they come on here. Lots of questions for them. Rennie says we should not be in a position where a person cannot be identified from a clear photo. Technology is far too advanced for this to remain a major obstacle. Kaboom. Thank you very much, Rennie. This individual could easily leave the country through our airport or any other ports of exit. We should have the ability to identify him as quickly as possible and immediately notify all ports of exit so that appropriate stop measures can be put in place. Thank you, sir, for that. Absolutely. Because the thing is, if we allow him to leave without the relevant charges being filed, and then he turns around and comes right back, that's a problem. So we got to get a hold of this. Ms. Juliet Ebanks thinks that he's a Jamaican. Andrew says he's probably married to Caymanian. What a hot mess. Strong Will says, Auntie, let's talk about the border control workers. Oh, I don't have a whole lot about them, Strong Will. I mean, I saw Renee did her usual reporting on it, and I know about as much as you guys right now, except that it's a crying shame that our own people are the ones who are out here working for CBC and trying to import guns and stuff and drugs into this country. What is wrong with them? Ruining their lives, but more importantly, ruining the country in the process. It's really, really quite sad. Debbie says, is pepper spray legal? Inquiring minds want to know. Did we ever pass that? I know it was a big discussion one time, and then it kind of died down and disappeared. Let me ask, because I kind of don't think we did anything with it. I don't know. That's a good question. Okay. Let me see. We got new fire trucks. This government is spending some money, four of them on the runway right now. What runway? At the port, or where are they? Send me some photos. Okay. I mean, listen, I think that sometimes fiscal capital projects, as well as acquisition of certain assets, would have been in place for quite some time. And if you have aging fire trucks, at some point you got to upgrade them and they have to be replaced. So I don't really know anything about the business case of it all. But what I would say is that there could be an arguable case for that. I can't really say. And I don't know how often we've been updating our fire trucks, but I know, God knows, the fire service has been busy really trying to put out all sorts of things, including the fires at the landfill. And all of that usage takes a toll on those trucks, right? So at some point you got to replace them. So I can't really speak to that one too much because I don't have enough information, but I'm willing to bet that these are not frivolous purchases. This lady is great about talking about narcissists. I was fascinated at some things. Oh, let me see who she is. Oh, I think that's her. That's the same lady I was watching earlier. Yes. That's her name. I didn't even know her name this morning. Hold on. I'm going to share this link with you because you'll find this. You'll find this interesting, but that's her. She was being interviewed by somebody else, but apparently she is the leading narcissism expert. Yeah, let me share this one with you. It's so amazing. I am fascinated. She talked about the piece that I just sent you there, that link. She's talking about personalities and stuff, and how your personality is pretty well set. Like I thought narcissists could change, but apparently change for them is very, very challenging. Oh my gosh. I had no clue. I was like, if it's that hard to change for a narcissist, oh God, people are sending me a video of this idiot Cuban guy again. Can you not ruin my morning so early in the morning? I got things going on today, honey, chill. Oh, Lord, I'm so sick of him. You know, if I'm sick of them had a chapter, right? He would be in the chapter book. Lavelle would be in the chapter book. Who else? It's like social media has given these people with, I swear they got mental health issues of some sort. It has given them a platform like no other. And they're just crazy. Oh my God. No, sir. KY Forever says they're not business because he ain't Cuban. If he was Cuban, they'd go lock him up. Oh, please. They're not locking up no friggin' Cubans. Ugh, speaking of people, like seriously, if they were locking up Cubans, this link that somebody just sent me of this idiot guy again, he would have been locked up when he went and commandeered the Panamanian ship. I'm just sick and tired of him. All this guy does is cause problems around the Cayman Islands. Can we deport him? Can we remove his political asylum? Because clearly he has no fear of engaging in anything here and you know, having any kind of rights taken away. This is one Cuban that we need to send back. Seriously. This guy has too much. Oh, it's after 9:30. We're off radio. He has too much fucking time on his hands. Seriously. He has too much time on his hands. This is why Aunt Lottie and them old people used to say, idle hands are the devil's playground. When you ain't got nothing to do, your brain starts to go loopity loop. And, you know, you start getting involved and harassing everybody. And I'm just sick and tired of him. Make him go away. Oh, my God. No, sir. Anthony says, I can bet if he hasn't been identified yet, after all this posting, he's not Caymanian Bobo. And that I will agree with, because I think that if he was a Caymanian, you know, Caymanians, they'll be out in each other. Oh, auntie, let me tell you who he family to. That's so-and-so brother, cousin 5 times and moved down the steps and blah, 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 and live around the bush. And, blah, you know, y'all would have had him pegged a long time ago. So that's exactly, I'm going to agree with you there, Anthony. I'm going to agree that he can be a Caymanian. And if he's not a Caymanian, the next biggest population are Jamaicans. So that's why a lot of people saying he probably Jamaican. Okay, I'll ask about the pepper spray. I kind of feel like it hasn't been approved, but Brenda says hairspray and raids certainly are. Anthony says you don't just go to the car mart and pick up fire trucks. They have to be ordered years in advance, and they're all custom built. And not only that, Anthony, but given the new buildings and stuff that we have, and the new height of buildings and different things, I suspect that there would be a really good business case for why we probably need an upgrade on those fire trucks anyway. Debbie says, so if you were to expose, if he were to expose himself to me and I use pepper spray in his eyes and lower extremities, will I be arrested? I'm not here to give you legal advice, because if the wrong people sneeze in this country, the police will arrest you. So possible, very, very possible. But there's also in law something called self-defense. So you might not be able to use pepper spray per se, but as Ms. Brenda says, if you have other things on you, bottle of perfume, some aerosol, a good foot to kick him in the friggin' nuts, these things could very well be within the realm of self-defense. And you would have, a legal defense to injuring him. And so therefore, it might not be battery as such, assault. I'm just saying, a good lawyer could certainly make a very good argument out of that. And most jurors would be hell-bent to actually convict you on such a thing. That doesn't mean the police not gonna arrest you. And it certainly doesn't mean that the DPP's office has any sense to know what cases they should pursue from what they shouldn't pursue. Their track record is a little bit, All right. Lady D says, seems like CBC needs a new overhaul. Too much is going on in that department lately. who's the chief in command over there? That is Mr. Bruce Smith. And yeah, I mean, lately he's been, whew, and you know what is so sad about it, guys, is that unfortunately for Mr. Bruce, he has a lot of hardworking CBC officers. You know, they're the ones who are catching these guys with the guns and the drugs and everything else. And it's unfortunate that, as they say, the bad apples are the ones who are ruining the entire tree. Absolutely. So he definitely needs to weed out the bad apples, and there seems to be more than a fair share who work for CBC. What a hot mess. Anthony says, looks like they finally have charged him for disorderly conduct. He was in court yesterday. Who, the Cuban guy? Oh my gosh, did we miss that? He needs to, once he gets a record, we really need to find out how to deport his behind. I ain't joking. I am so not joking. Oh, was he in court? I need to go look at the court list. Thank you, Anthony. I didn't see that. I hardly look at the list anymore. And honestly, I haven't been to court in a hot minute. I've been busy on some other projects, which, by the way, our anniversary is coming up in a month, June the 30th. And we've got a big reveal ahead of the anniversary about an important project that we've really, really been working on. So excited. All right. Ms. Brenda says, yes, according to the law. However, you will have a case depending on the circumstances. You will be told that you shouldn't have been in possession of pepper spray. But like I said, there are other things that you can do in the moment to defend yourself. KY Forever says, we've been needed to send him back. Trust and believe that. Sophia says, that's what happened when they give papers too quick. From time they wash up ya, send them back home. Well, somehow this one was able to make a case for whatchamacallit, for asylum, for political asylum. I would love to see them papers because I don't know how that happened. KY says he's probably from Rotan. He looks Spanish. I'm going to be honest with you again. I feel like if he was from Rotan, because Caymanians have such really close connections to people from the Bay Islands, somebody would have done been like, oh no, you know, he from Rotan, he from such and such little road, you know. I kind of feel like we would know who he is already. But with 3 million, the population of over 3 million people, he's probably Jamaican and didn't know. And nobody knows who he is. Pepper spray isn't legal, so I keep a 6-inch blade in my purse. Backwardness, hashtag protect women, says Abby. Oh my God, Abby. Debbie says, Brenda, what a shit show. Well, he'll be blinded temporarily and hopefully his balls frozen. Wait a minute. It will be worth the consequences. What were you going to freeze his balls with exactly? What were you spraying him with? What the hell? Oh my God. Miss Brenda says use the Salampas. Listen. Clorox bleach, whatever you got on your wasp spray. Oh yeah, Sophia says wasp spray works really well too. That's like pepper spray. And the good thing about wasp spray, it has a wide shot angle, like, because it's meant to, you know, you don't want to be close to wasp when you're spraying them. So it has that trajectory that's quite far. So yeah, from a distance, you could spray them. What a mess. El Rey says, as of 2026, the average cost of a new large fire engine pumper generally exceeds $1 million, with advanced aerial ladder trucks costing between $1.5 and over $2 million. Prices have more than doubled over the last decade due to custom engineering, safety features, and manufacturer consolidation, with delivery times often spanning 2 to 4.5 years. Lord have mercy. What the hell? That's a long time to get a truck. So yeah, I don't think that probably was in the works from years ago. So, Irvelin said, I really hope so, that we can get rid of him. He's a nuisance. You need to check it. Some of these people try hoodwink you with nonsense, and they big and bold on the court list. Honey child, I know what you mean. Debbie says, are you pregnant? Big project. Who's pregnant? I know you're not asking me that question. One and done. One and done. K-Manion by Birth 345 says maybe it's time for the police to create a special unit assigned to the length of public beach during the day. I thought they had done that already. I thought they had those fancy bikes that DART gave them for beach and all-terrain vehicles, for the beaches and the grass and going in the bush and all kind of stuff. But we need more policing patrols on our public beach, and we need vending to stop. Now, I think it was last year sometime we did a survey, and I have to try to go back and find it, but we actually did a questionnaire in our WhatsApp group about whether or not government should cease beach vending. 99% of the people, I should do it again, but 99% of the people said yes. This is before this government got in. So it was probably over a year ago or about a year ago. So y'all need to listen to the people. We don't want beach vending. It's making 7 Mile Beach and now other beaches look trashy. Cease all beach vending. Simple as that. Ms. Brenda says Jamaicans aren't the only nuisances we have here. I have audio and visual evidence of that. Our island has been taken over by many. Stop having tunnel vision. Well, I don't think this is about tunnel vision. I think, quite frankly, this is about, they are the largest population here of expats. So the chances, if you were just looking at mere numbers and forget about tunnel vision, forget about whatever prejudices people may have, the sheer numbers would mean that he would, most likely be a Jamaican just because of the numbers of Jamaicans that we have here. So it's really just a number game. It doesn't have anything to do with tunnel vision or anything else. Now, that doesn't mean that every single crime obviously is being committed by Jamaicans. No, absolutely not. But statistically speaking, it's more likely to be a Caymanian in the first instance, which a lot of times are people who have status, right? Or secondly, a Jamaican. And given his looks, if you're just going off of how the man look, right? Brown skin people of color are going to be Caribbean normally. Somebody said, yes, sometimes they can be Spanish. Obviously Spanish people come in all shapes and colors and stuff as well. So we can't, say with 100% certainty. But if I were a betting person, I would say, 1, is he Caymanian? Nope, nobody has identified him as yet. So the likelihood of him being Caymanian, 0. Next group I'd go to is he Jamaican? I would say, again, if I was a betting person, I would put this at about the 90 percentile that he's probably Jamaican. There's that 10% that maybe he's from maybe he's Dominican or some other Spanish-speaking country, but if I was a betting woman, which I'm not, I really shouldn't say that I'm not a betting woman because I occasionally play the lottery. So I guess sometimes I bet. Irvin says, I have, oh yes, thank you so much, Anthony. I'm going to go check out the list there so that we can maybe see what the file is about, but he's disgusting. Disorderly conduct, they should be charging him with something else. Irvin says, I have wasp nests on my eaves and I need to get one ASAP. Be careful with them because you upset them and they can attack you. So you want to make sure that you spray and you aim to spray properly. Abby says the 1% that voted for beach vendors were the vendors themselves. True, Abby. Debbie says you indicated that you were working on a big project. Hence my question. Oh, and Cry reminds me. I'm sorry, I didn't put it together, Debbie. My apologies. So the big project is, no, it's not a pregnancy project. I've given birth to something, but it's not a human baby. So no, but yes, we are doing a recording today, this afternoon, actually, and the reveal will be coming really, really soon. Lynn says that, yep, even if I shoot him with wasp spray, I was told that I would get in trouble. Girl, take your chances, because there is such an argument as self-defense. Yeah, so it's not 100% that you're getting to get in trouble. It's an arguable case. Sophia says, Sandy, he looks like he's all bleaching too. Does he? Let me have a look. Normally the knuckles give it away, but I can't get a good look at his knuckles. But maybe. Possible. El Rey says, didn't someone say the incident in Jerry Springer Beach, he drove off in a mobile car wash van? That's what they thought. They said, yes, it looked like a silver mobile car wash van or something. All right. Caller, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, Miss Brenda.
Yeah.
Honey chill. You know, you and somebody else have a very, very similar number. The numbers, like the last four digits are flipped or something, but it's very similar. Yeah.
You told me that.
Mhm.
And actually, there was a time, I don't know if the man is still on the island. I used to get calls for this man all the time.
Mhm.
He was a manager of, what's that hotel called again? Rankins, was it Airport Inn? Where came on Airbase?
Oh, yeah.
That used to be a hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
And Kent Rankin, known as Biggie.
Oh, really? He had a hotel?
Yeah, I think that was a hotel. That's right.
Okay.
And the manager there, he and I had, it was just one digit off. And I used to get all these calls and messages for this man.
Oh, my goodness.
and then I met the man, and it turned out it was just off by one digit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
there's a lady who actually gets my calls because her number is very close to my personal number, and her husband, when the first time I met them, it was at one of the chamber events, and they were laughing because they said, boy, we get a lot of messages for you. Do people ever stop messaging you? And I said, what do you mean? And he said, my wife's number is like one digit off from yours, and people call, they message. And you know what is so funny? When she tells them that it's not, like, she's not me, they don't believe her.
they think you're dodging them.
Yes, they're like, no, it's you, and you have to help me with this problem.
All right, so little humor for the day.
Mm-hmm.
You said you're not a betting woman. That's not true.
Yeah, I
morning,
know.
you get up betting that you're listening to you.
Oh my God!
So,
true.
Yeah, all right,
I'm taking a lot of risk in life, so I guess
we all are. But just to say, on a serious note, even if someone, let's just say you and I were having an argument, and I had hose in my hand, and I sprayed you down with water, that is an offense.
Oh, yes. Yes. We've talked about it here. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to touch the person, right?
Yeah.
You could lunge at them in a aggressive manner. And by definition and within the law, that can amount to assault as well. Yeah.
Well, let me just give you a very quick story about that and how the law works. I was being attacked and threatened and attacked one day with a weed whacker.
Oh my God.
Yes. And I happened to have my hose in my hand. So to protect myself, I figured the best thing to do was spray the water in the weed whacker to shut it down, right? And, as a result, the person got wet. And so when I called the police, of course, there was no one around to stop or to intervene. But when I called the police, all of a sudden I saw all the hyenas and the John Crows stepping forward to say, oh, how I had sprayed him down and wet him up and so and so.
Oh my God.
So, yes, and so the police said to me, that they want to press charges against you for wetting him up. And of course, he was threatening to kill me with a weed whacker. So I just said that to say, I know that we probably were all being very humorous this morning, but I just said that to say, be careful, because unfortunately, it doesn't matter what side of the fence the incident is more serious on. It depends on whose side the police is going to take. All right? And that's right, because nothing was done at that time about this person threatening to kill me in my own yard with a weed whacker. And let me say for the record, he was not a Jamaican. Okay. So, yes, moving on. I wish that I had known that you were going to have the health minister on there this morning, because I have a report to make, and I hope they're still listening. And this is to do, I'm not blaming everyone, so I'm going to specify where it was. This is at the HSA, where they have these little upstarts dealing with human beings. And and I know their names, and I can call their names. Right now my voicemail is not working on my phone. I also had to change my email, which I advised them of. I also have said repeatedly, if you call me, you don't get me. Do not leave me a voice message, because I cannot retrieve it. Just a quick email. And plus, when you call, you don't get an answer. You have to call the entire hospital and try to, the switchboard will answer you, and then you ask them to try to connect you with someone in the department you're trying to reach, because they're sitting there and they're just palavering. They're not concerned about the phone. Anyway, so recently I was being called, and when I was returning the calls, got no answer. Like I say, I had to go around the entire property to get an answer. So a lady was asked to answer me. She took the information and she said, I will make sure to pass this on. And in that information was, about the voicemail thing, the email, and so on. Anyway, so I said, if it was just a reminder, they don't have to call me back. Just tell them thanks. I did remember. Okay. So later on, I got another call, and I said to the person, did you not get my message? And this is somebody named Natalia McLaughlin. And I said, no, you didn't get it. I said, oh, okay. And I repeated that information to her. And she's addressing me as my dear. I said, excuse me, do not address me as my dear. Oh, So they don't know who. Clearly, they don't even know where they are. So while she was there talking about me and saying very derogatory things about me, yes, she didn't know who was listening. And so I was called and told what was being said. And I made some inquiries, and I'm told that that's a regular thing with her. I was also told that they have a lot of complaints against her, but her supervisor is not doing anything. Okay?
That's not
and
good.
Then I was also told that there is a long-term staff member there. I don't think I should call her name, but I know she's been there for a very long time, and she could be their mother. And I was told that they're very rude and disrespectful to her, and as a result, they lodged complaints against that woman, and then she was hauled up, okay? And apparently threatened to be dismissed from her job. So I have spoken to Minister Wilkes before about the hospital, especially those frontline people, and she acknowledged that she had gotten a lot of complaints about it, but yet nothing has changed. And there are lots and lots of problems going on there. We got people there that English is not even their first language. We have people there who I know a 12-year-old child could do a better job than them, because at least they would use their sense, because you got to first have that to use it. Simple common sense matters, and they make it very complicated because they cannot be bothered. And I have a problem with that, because that is dealing with lives, Caymanian lives. I have a serious problem with that. So I hope that Minister Wilkes or somebody in her ministry or somebody that knows her is listening here this morning, because this is my first time speaking about it, but it's not going to be my last. And it will be one of those dead horses that I will flog until something is done about it. Just like the one that I flogged continuously that I got sorted out. I'm talking about the road out here in Savannah. I didn't give up on that one. And finally, I got that resolved. And this is what I intend to do with any issue that I have to deal with, the Caymanians have to deal with. I'm not concerned about the others. I'm concerned about Cayman and Caymanians. That's what I am. Okay? Sandra, thank you so much.
All right, my dear. Thanks very much. Wow.
Okay.
Poor service. They're probably not the only entity that's not answering the phone, but gosh, when it comes to medical things, you know, you're trying to make appointments and do other things. It'd be really nice if they would answer. Sophia says the caller is telling the truth. HSA being highlighted again. Oh, Lord. This person says we need to get rid of him. He's a menace. Speaking about the Cuban guy now. He's a menace to society. That man is a fucking Jamaican. Speaking back to that picture. He isn't Honduran. We don't claim him. When I walk on the beach, I carry a rusty knife. Lord have mercy. Going poison any effer that tries me. At the same time, I stab him. Please, his bleach out skin gives him away. Caymanians don't bleach. Spanish people don't bleach. I mean, okay. If we are going to go with the fact that he's bleaching, I'm trying to look at him a little bit closer. I mean, sometimes it's hard to tell though, you know, because that's why I need to look at the knuckles, like the feet and the hands kind of give it away. Because I mean, he's not light skinned, but then again, I don't know where he started. He might be light skinned compared to where he was before. Like it's hard to say because I don't know, you know, like sometimes when you look at the before and after picture, then you see like, oh my gosh, yes, they're still dark brown, but before he would have been a lot darker. And then it becomes obvious that they're actually bleaching. But wow, what a hot mess. Yeah, like I said, I put my money on the fact that he's probably a Jamaican. Sir, please come forward and just turn yourself in so we can deport your ass because we don't need you here. We got enough rapists and child molesters and others here that we really don't need to have them. We don't need them here for real. What a hot mess. Ms. Brenda says that Spanish people invented bleaching. Oh, Lord. I don't know about that. But Jamaicans, if the Spanish people invented it, the Spaniards, if the Spanish people invented it, Jamaicans made it world boss famous. All right. Okay. So Phineas says, Sandy, his face is pinkish. That's how you know. Maybe, yeah. Oh gosh, I hear Mr. Zeus making one pile of noise around the place now. Why is he barking? He's in his cage. You can tell when he's in his cage and he's not happy. He got his summer shave down this weekend, looking so cute. Persona non grata to him and the Cuban. They all need to go if you ask me. We got the Cuban, we got Lavelle, we got him. Who else is on the list? Larry and Linda. Couple more. Brenda, and they want us to use HSA, will not sign off on people wanting to use other medical facilities, saying that it can be done at HSA. Well, I have a friend in there now, 3 months. Had he went to Health City, he wouldn't be in the situation. Lord Jesus. Anthony says, Sandy, is that tattoo on his right bicep? Can you bring the area in or screenshot it? Let me see. You know what? I bet you I could ask AI. Let me ask AI to help me with his tattoo. Okay, 1 second. Oh boy, Zeus barking down the plate. He's not happy. You know what? Zeus actually kind of knows when the show is over. He has some kind of internal clock because a lot of times he even comes by my door and starts like pushing up against the door. I hear him making one pile noise. Okay, let's see. We're gonna have it zoom in on the tattoo. Good suggestion there, Anthony. And this is why, you know, these identifying marks, it's good to know. Let's see. Give it a couple seconds. AI is working its magic. Let's see how good of a job it does. And after this, I'm going to go eat me some turned mangoes with a little salt and pepper. I'm taking full advantage of my mango tree, honey child, because this is the first season that we got some real. Last year I had 4, and this year she is loaded. I've been eating so many mangoes. I know that's not good for my A1C. Add in final touches. Okay, let's see what it came up with. Look at AI working its magic. All right. Let me ask it to tell me what is it? Oh Lord. Zeus barking so much he's straining his voice. My tweetums. Okay, so let me show you what AI came up with. Hold on. So this is what AI came up with. Yeah. And I've asked it to tell me, you know, what does it look like? So it appears to be a black and gray realism style tattoo with multiple symbolic elements blended together into a sleeve style composition on the upper arm. The visible elements include a bird with wings spread, possibly a dove or an eagle, which often symbolizes freedom, protection, spirituality, or overcoming struggles. Child, please. A rose, commonly associated with love, loss, loyalty, or remembrance. A web or geometric background shading used to tie the artwork together. 2 solid black armbands around the lower bicep, which can symbolize strength, mourning, balance, or personal milestones, depending on the wearer. The overall style looks like a modern Blackwood realism with shading rather than traditional bold outline tattooing. It also looks professionally done with layered shaving and depth. All of that, honey child. Yeah. Abby says, yep, he can go in the same flight with Larry and Linda and the Indigo Divers. Yeah, what were their names again? I'm trying to remember them. El Rey says, nah, bleaching trait is dark knuckles, toes, and elbows. And that's why, because I can't really see his knuckles, it's kind of hard to say. Debbie says, well, I will completely turn his balls chalk white, assuming, unlike the prep school OnlyFans teacher, he has a pair. Oh my gosh. No, sir. Ms. Brenda says, I love my HSA. It's the front line of these no-class upstarts that they need to get rid of. Skin bleaching does not have a single inventor. Rather, it is a practice with ancient roots, says KY Forever. Since at least the 3rd century BCE, early cultures, including the ancient Egyptians, Greeks, and somebody else, Romans, used natural preparations like honey, olive oil, and white lead. That'll kill you. To lighten their complexions. All right. Ask AI, which ethnic group is that tattoo popular with? I don't think it's going to answer that for you. AI will tell you sometimes that it won't do certain things. It won't say, like some of the images that I put up, like this image here, AI would not create this in my usual little new fancy format. It's like, no, we're not going to be encouraging any hate towards people. Or I'm like, whatever. Sometimes I'll be telling off AI. I'm like, shut up. AI, shut up. So I'm going to ask the question, but I bet you it's going to tell you, it can't tell you. Which ethnic group is the tattoo popular with? So hold on. Which ethnic group is the tattoo popular with? I bet you I can give you a very PI, politically correct, PC. The style of tattoo is not tied to one specific ethnic group. Black and gray realism tattoos with roses, birds, and armbands are widely popular across many communities globally. Then it goes on to give you some more details about doves and Polynesian indigenous cultures and blah, blah, blah. It says, so the tattoo in the image most closely resembles contemporary black and gray urban realism influenced by Chicano and Caribbean/American tattoo aesthetics, but it's now mainstream across many ethnic backgrounds. Interesting that they mention Caribbean, because they do say in their detailed analysis that dove and eagle and rose combinations are very common in Caribbean, African American, and Latino tattoo styles, particularly in urban realism, barbershop inspired tattoo culture. Might be onto something. Yes, Chris Alpers, Indigo Divers. Remember him? Hot mess. Plenty Caymanians love bleaching and pants under batty. Bleaching is corny. Caymanians bleach? I can't think of a Caymanian that I've seen bleaching, but I haven't seen them all, so there we go. So FYI, bleaching didn't come from Spaniards, says KY Forever. All right, he's a Spaniard, says Anthony. I don't know. I'm surprised that no one has been able to identify him yet. Why don't we do this? I'm going to post his picture again, and I'm going to ask people, why has nobody identified him? I know he can't be from the Bay Islands because y'all would have been on top of that one already. But we'll post it again, and we'll see. Yep, that is him hiding out behind the thing. Oh, somebody said, let's look at his feet. Oh, he got ugly feet. Ew. I hate a man with ugly feet. Looking at this other photo again, zooming in on it. Ugly feet. He has a chain around his neck, but we can't see what it is. Huh. We dissecting him all kind of ways. Somebody said, let him in, let Zeus in. Where's Miss Stacy? The Cuban pirate at again. Oh, Lord, he's so disgusting. He probably bleaching to enhance the look of his tattoos. Looks like he just started. Does not matter who invented bleaching. Jamaicans have taken it over for sure. Oh, Lord. All right, let me just let Zeus out. One second, y'all, because this poor dog. All right, let's play some commercials. ESO people are going around. Somebody messaged me last night. Some person came to my door about a survey, and I don't know if they're legit. Well, they are going around, and when they sent me what they had, I was like, yep, that's a labor force survey.
The Economics and Statistics Office, ESO, is currently conducting the annual business surveys until June 12. The surveys collect information to answer questions like, how did the economy perform in 2025? In 2025, how much did foreign companies invest in the Cayman Islands? The surveys include all relevant entities that produce goods and services in the Cayman Islands. The surveys are confidential under the Statistics Act and are exempt from the Freedom of Information Act. Your response matters. Do your part. Fill out and return your survey forms to the ESO. Remember, better data, better decisions, better business. For assistance in filling out the forms or for more information, visit eso.ky or call 244-4676 or 244-4600.
Oh, yes, I forgot Miss Stacy probably went grocery shopping, honey child. So Zeus is like, everybody has forgotten all about me. Okay, come. Come and say hello to everybody. Say I got my summer cut. And this is this little toy in his mouth. Oh, Lord. Gigi made him a toy. I don't know why she marked up on it, but anyway, she made him she stuffed it and then sewed it together for him. And he loves it, actually. I say it's now one of my favorite toys. And I have so many toys. I have so many toys. I have so many toys. Did I tell you guys that Zeus is actually really good at playing football? He has his own little footballs, and he loves for you to kick it, and then he chase it, and he'll run from you. Oh, my little sweet. My little sweetie. My little sweetie. Say hi to everybody. Say, yeah, look at me. I got my summer cut. See? Oi, oi. Somebody's getting fat around here. You get a summer shave. Yeah. Say hi. I was like, everybody's forgotten me. Everybody's forgotten me. But you know, when I go on the road, you have to go back in your kennel, right? Right, sir? You're going to have to go back in that kennel. So then what? I know you don't be barking when you're here by yourself. It's just because you know I'm here. Yeah, that's what's going on. You're like, I want to be in the office with you. Right? He is such a cutie patootie. You are so cute. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Okay, sit down here and be a good boy. Child, he loves to be right where the action is. He doesn't like mangoes though. I had another dog. Who was it? Well, Oscar and Rupert used to love mangoes, and sometimes Coco would eat mangoes as well. Not Zeus. He's very like, what are you trying to feed me? All right, folks. Jones News says everyday Jamaican name call a Cayman. Call the people damn name, not the country. Did you hear what I said earlier about the population? Spanish people don't do anything that require manual labor. Easy life. What? Tattoo shops are not popular in Jamaica, says Anthony. They're not? Only in the tourism area. I have not seen them. So persons with that kind of tattoo most likely not a Jamaican. That's strange because a lot of Jamaicans have very good tattoos. So where are they getting them from? Someone indicates that he drives a bus. Usually Spanish people do not dominate this profession. Well, they said that they thought they saw him drive off in a car wash vehicle. So Precious Juice want to see you, or he wants to go outside. Yeah, he just wants to come in. I know. Oh, poor thing. All right, so we got family that's gonna be visiting in a couple days, and I need to go make some reservations for them. So let me get on that. We're gonna be playing host. So that was on my to-do. I just got my reminder. That's on my to-do list. Big shout out to CNB. Apparently something was blocking my email and my emails were not getting through to them. And so they had to go to IT and get that sorted out. So yeah, yesterday once, and I said, that's happened before. And so when they were able to, sorry, no more calls because I really got to go. I got to get ready for my video. But when they were, I was like, it's so weird that I'm not getting a response. And then, anyway, yesterday I was speaking to them and I said, it's strange that I emailed you over the weekend. You didn't get those. I said, go speak to IT because honestly, it has happened before where something was blocking my emails. And so, we gotta sort that out. All right. Calls are done for the day because we gotta go. Jamaica, I said what you gonna do about it. Y'all do not start fighting in this. Hello. Rael says he has corns on his hands, but no black mouth from excessive weed smoking. He's a Spaniard. Oh my God. Y'all are just too, Sophia says that's a lie. Y'all are just too much. Only ones I see is tourist Kingston and tourist area and Kingston. Well, now you're saying and Kingston. Well, Kingston is a huge city of how many million people? So that now, Anthony, that argument's sounding kind of fishy. All right, why don't we ask AI? Let's ask AI. Where do you think this person is from? Let's ask AI the question. Based on his features, photo, Where do you think this man is from? Jamaica? Shall we narrow it down or don't give it any? Let's not bias the AI tool. Okay. Let's just ask, where do you think he's from? I can't reliably determine where someone is from based solely on their appearance in a photo. Features, clothing, tattoos, and style can overlap many countries and cultures, especially in the Caribbean and broader diaspora communities. What I can say is that the overall look and setting could fit many places here. AI now, what I can say is that the overall look and setting could fit many places in the Caribbean region, including Jamaica. AI, you so sus. Including Jamaica. And not a word of lie. I'm going to screenshot this for y'all because y'all going to think I'm lying. Y'all going to be like, Sandy just made up that AI response. I didn't. The first country AI mentioned was Jamaica. Oh my God. AI, you're too much. You're doing too much while claiming that you can't do it. So hear what AI said. It lists Jamaica, then Cayman. It says, what I can say is that the overall look and setting could fit many places in the Caribbean, including Jamaica, Cayman, Trinidad, Barbados, or parts of the U.S. Caribbean diaspora culture. But that would be speculation rather than a factual identification. Okay, so can we tell it to speculate even more? Okay. Given what you know, let's see this. About the Cayman, Zeus, must you really squeeze that toy to death? The Cayman Islands. Can you speculate further? Yeah, so Gigi had the presence of mind to put his little squeaky thing in the toy that she made for him. Oh my God, these kids. Even AI, not like Jamaicans. KY forever. Stop it. AI telling the truth, says Sophia. That's Miss Brenda calling back. She had one call already for the day. Can't be that urgent. Sorry, Miss Brenda. All right, let's see what AI gonna say now. Given the Cayman Islands context specifically. Oh God, hear this response. Hold on. This is the next AI response now, right? Yes, sir. AI being featured today. All the AI haters are gonna be like, why are you using AI? We told you don't use no AI. All right, given the Cayman Islands context specifically, and speaking purely as speculation rather than fact, the styling, grooming, tattoo aesthetics, clothing, and overall presentation could fit someone from a wider Caribbean background, particularly Jamaican heritage or influence. Lord God. Hi, Zeus. What's wrong? Oh, I put you in the seat and then you didn't want to stay. Just sit down right there. Sit down, sir. Sit down. Good boy. So it says, particularly Jamaican heritage or influence, which is very common culturally within Cayman. The tattoo style specifically leans towards a kind of black and gray urban Caribbean tattoo culture that is very popular among young Jamaican and Caymanian men. Particularly within dance hall. Lord God, AI, you're doing too much. Dance hall, hip hop, and broader Caribbean street fashion influences. The beard styling, cap, tank top, jewelry, and beach setting also fit a commonly beach setting also fit a look commonly seen across Cayman's multicultural Caribbean population. But importantly, many Caymanians themselves are of Jamaican descent or mixed Caribbean heritage. Take that. Visual appearance alone cannot distinguish between a Caymanian, Jamaican, Honduran, Caymanian, Trinidadian. In Cayman specifically, cultural styles blend heavily across communities. So if I had to speculate only from regional familiarity, I'd say he could plausibly be Jamaican. Number 2, Caymanian with Jamaican roots. Or number 3, or from any other English-speaking Caribbean background. But that remains an educated guess, not something that can actually be determined from the image. Well, I would say again, if we were in the betting game, AI probably it has identified Jamaican first in all of its analysis. And so I think that really, oh, Miss Brenda, just private message me. Just private message me because we're about to end the show. Oh, speaking of reaching someone, I need your help. I almost forgot. A birth certificate has been found for a Jamaican national. Hold on. The name is, oh Lord, let me see now. This person sent it early this morning. The name is oh Lord, what his name is again? Oh my gosh. What the hell is his name? Okay, somebody sent it this morning. Try to find the message again. Oh yes, here we go. So we are looking for, this is your birth certificate, so you might need it. Look like it's been through hell and back, but birth registration form from Mandeville, Jamaica, Manchester, and the name is Mr. Let me see, Michael Valentine Morgan. Michael Valentine Morgan, born in 1971. Your birth certificate has been found, and boy, does it look like it's had a rough life. All kind of stains on it. Mother's name is Janet. Or no, mother's name is Mother Georges Valley, town or village, Manchester. Number of children born to mother alive, 1. Oh, mother's name is Karen Beatrice Gale. Okay, so Mr. Nothing listed for the father. Mr. Michael Valentine Morgan. Who was the nurse? Nurse V. I can't make out that name, child. It's not the best handwriting in the world, but anyway. Somebody was trying to be fancy with the handwriting, but still hard to see. 14th of February, born on Valentine's Day, 1971. Your birth certificate, sir, has been found. So help us find him. Anyway, so AI seems to conclude that the man is probably a Jamaican. Anthony says if it's a Jamaican, that won't matter. You better have his aliases on the certificate. Nobody not know him. Lord Jesus. Okay, so that's it, folks. We gotta go. Got lots of work to do today. You guys have a fantastic day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Tomorrow would be Thursday. Oh yes, Minister J is on tomorrow, so we will see you guys tomorrow morning. All right, be safe out there, and see you guys at 7:30. Minister J should be on the entire program tomorrow, so get your questions ready.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.